and then obviously knocked it out the park. So it is possible that they could see that return to form, maybe just the volatility, maybe the different groups changing in and out from game to game. Maybe that could have affected them a little bit. But I think you're right. I think it's definitely something to prove, and probably not going to be able to do it here with 2 players going down. I feel like they just spent way too long in the air above Enigma Galaxy, who were grabbing those vehicles away from them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And it's a really good point, actually, bringing up the Infinity. And I have a counterpoint, in fact, to you there, with their 15th place over on that first league play, is that they had 2 third places. And let's compare those 2 third places to the single third place from 4 rivals, where their third place came with 10 kills on round 4 of the first day. And then on the first game of the second day, they dropped in with a 6-kill third place as well. So I do think that for the Infinity, there were those signs of merit, right, coming through from this team where we were like, well, they can actually have these big games, but we're still not sure about this team yet. And then they got more into that rhythm of it. Like Tarzan says, they got into that flow state, and they're feeling good about it now. They're having those more consistent performances that we knew they could make happen. So I am just a little bit scared for 4 rivals in that sense. And I think that there is a lot to be learned from a team's best game and then how many kills they had on it. Was it a scrape by, or were they able to control and dominate those zones towards the end? Really interesting stuff, and I'm glad to see that we're getting more stats now as we head further into the East League. You know, we're on our 2nd Super Weekend now. There is only 1 Super Weekend after this one, John, before we finalize those teams going towards the finals to determine our top 9. So really cool stuff. I do love me some PUBG Mobile. I'll tell you that now.
Absolutely. And also you've got to remember that normally, for the most part, in this tournament format, it is teams that play 2 Super Weekends that are right on the bubble of not making it to those finals. So we're more than likely going to be seeing the last Super Weekend for a team or 2 here, or seeing some of the teams that have only played 1. This is their first Super Weekend playing in that next one. But either way, it's likely that that bubble will be around those 2 Super Weekend teams, putting it somewhere in that 140 to 180 mark of points for the bubble. It's very difficult to know exactly where it's all going to land, given just how the tournament format works with people playing different numbers of games. But it's absolutely all up for grabs. At the moment, the Infinity and 4 rivals, the only teams that have sort of managed to look like they can surpass that bubble. And the thing is, Blank, even if 4 rivals don't have a stellar performance, if they get 50 points this Super Weekend, it's likely they'll qualify.
Yeah, exactly. So they're in a different position to Nova at the moment, with Nova being in 4th place, 126 points, missing out on the Super Weekend. Yeah, 4 rivals might have just scraped by into this one, but like I said, if they just get like a decent amount of points, they should be safe if they make it to the 3rd.
Calma aí, calma aí. Já dou bom dia pra vocês.
Very good player on the Infinity, and shows us exactly why he is. Just now, 6-8,
vai mamar, mamou.
And he should go down here.
He gets taken out and flushed, but did
Ei, bom dia! Fala bom dia, bom dia! Fala secão, bom dia aí, rapaziada. Yeah.
On this western bridge. This is probably, I think, the 3rd time I've seen it over the last couple of days.
Meu Deus do céu.
It's something that needed to happen eventually. I think the Infinity, I said it so many times, they were getting so much space on that western side that was just afforded to them because no one wanted to bridge camp them. I think Reject just decided that, you know what, this is not a team that
Deixa eu colocar lá no
find better placings within
Instagram.
and then not go for that. I mean, just looking at the map here, Reject already moved off towards farm already, towards the center of that circle. 6-8 have a lot more time to go about it, really, because they're coming from Premios, so it's almost on their rotational path to guard out the Infinity. If you get like 1 kill point every single time, that starts to add up over 15 games of a Super Weekend. So it's curious. Going back to my previous point as well, just about Nova, considering they don't get into this one. Yes, they had a 4th place finish though. So on the flip side for
calma aí, eu já falo com vocês aí. Deixa eu só
because there's no breaks now, right? There's no breaks. For Nova, there is a slight break now where they
colocar o
can
link.
analyze the games, figure out what's going on.
Bom, só For Evil e a Infinity perderam pessoas. Ah, não, a ST também, é verdade. Conseguimos chegar para a primeira queda hoje, hein? Que isso!
Well, how many points do we really need? I think sitting in that 4th place at the moment should be okay. It should be okay if they make it to the 3rd one.
Yeah, it's all up for grabs, really.
Tentar ligar essa porcaria aqui.
Well, I say no team. I feel like BC Swell are out of it at this point, qualifying towards the finals, having qualified for neither of these 2 Super Weekends. I don't think we've ever seen one Super Weekend team qualify.
Liga.
I would have to go back and double check that though, because that is a fairly bold.
Liga, mano.
That is a fairly bold claim. I would not be hesitant to disagree with you though, right? I think that is a fair thing to say. You know what, it would have to be one hell of a Super Weekend to make it in off the back of just a single one. You would be down towards 16th place regardless of what happened, but you might just be able to make it in. Looking at the teams here, you know, a lot of this eastern side of the map very, very much clear at the moment, considering DEIXE aren't in the lobby. They're not dropping over towards Lipovka, so Tongji Bao taking advantage of that.
Não, mano. Porra é essa?
Side of Mansion. Goodness me. Okay, Logan.
Just one shot. So just like throws
Mas
the
tem
nade,
mamando.
you know, maybe get the knock.
Boa.
Just 2 nades to seal the deal. That is okay. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, that's some good work. I mean, they got gatekeeped on the western side, so why don't we
Pela
just
da
gatekeep
puta.
Star on the eastern side? If 6 to 8 can have success with it, maybe so can we. So far, it's looking good. Logan, I think he's got the most throwables used in the entire lobby. Unsurprising as well, the guy is so good with them. I mean,
Ah, também, meu Deus do céu, eu sou muito burro, velho, na moral.
Just go for the throws, man. Just give him all the grenades you have and let him work with it. Right now, the Infinity trying to make as much happen as possible, but Top finds the cheeky shot over towards Logan. Very easy for him.
Aí, ó. Vai ficar bacana pra caralho agora. Fala, Starlight, bom dia, Fer. Para mais um dia hoje abençoado, amém, para todos nós, que seu dia seja abençoado, mano. Deixa eu ver essa trocação aqui. Ih, ela mamou. Nossa, cara. Scry fez a play. Olha aí. A playzinha aí, hein. Mano, eu tenho uma promoção aqui, viu? Um superchat de 5 conto por 0. Oxi, manda pra nós aí, bom dia. Salve, Sparrow. Salve, Alisson. Cara, dormi 3 horinhas só, mas eu falei que ia abrir, eu tenho que ajeitar esse horário, porque aqui até os últimos dias eu quero abrir as 2 lives, então bora. Só que tem que botar o cartão. Ah, não acredito. Bota um cartão aí pra nós, bom dia. Salve, Daru. Bom dia, ué. Como é que tamo? BTR tem constância pra passar? Acho que o BTR acordou, velho. Vamos ver. Bom, não vou falar nada, né? Vamos ver. Um dia pra quem nem dormiu, caralho, ele fez, hein? Aí sim. Hoje começa o Super Weekend da segunda semana? Sim, meu parceiro. Oi, Trixie, bom dia. Dia, Vitor. Dia, Matheus Sampaio, como é que tamo? Vou ligar pro C1, chamar ele pra assistir? Ah, nunca na vida que C1 vai acordar agora pra assistir. C1 mal tá acordando 3 horas da tarde pra assistir o outro, imagina esse daí. E aí, a 7 no topo. Fim da minha autoescola e o camp. Nossa, mano, uma cara de sono. Olha o meu cabelo, velho. Nossa, nem pentei o cabelo. Meu Deus do céu. Então, nesse calzinho ali pra mim. Nesse calção gelado. Ficou legal o coladinho aqui, né? Sabe, Lucas, como é que estamos? É bom olhar esses safes aí, cara, porque esse padrão e que fecha à tarde também. Sabia? Sabia? Viu as farpas dos caras do Insta, Fer? Não. Farpa de quem? E aí, Vitor? Nova nem passou. Que bom ver a Nova não jogando. É boazuda, Nova. E aí, Souza Boy? Entra no 20º sono ainda, pô. Farpa de quem? Vamos acordar vendo farpa.
You want to make it hard for these teams that are bridge camping you and almost dissuade them from doing it again.
Well, here goes Nick McGalaxy towards reject. 2 of their players, but in comes the backup. You can see that on the mini-map, just rolling on into the side of those buildings. Misses the nade through the window. Hits the car instead. Lord, with oversight from Bigotron, struggling to make this entry now. Duello
Qual que é o segredo dessa NGX mesmo?
Yeah, really nice little fight there coming through from Reject. Duello holding him off. Unfortunate nade doesn't go through the little slat in the window there, so Reject are able to hold on strong now.
Isso do PUBG Mobile underline BR.
You're right, BTR have very nice, a very nice overlook onto this position, but it's Yu Yang actually coming into the situation from STE from a distance. Okay, Ralph goes
Só também
down.
o cara tava no meio do nada.
Nice and easily.
Aí é foda, viu?
Tries to stop Yu Yang from taking that point away from them.
Bigatron as well, just looking down over all of this, and they're just having the time of their lives. They're slap bang in the middle of the circle blank. They've got some decent high ground position. The question is, how long can they hold on to it? There's a lot of people looking to press in. Inward pressure greatly increased right now with all 16 teams still alive.
Oh, this is just so mean from Godtunny. And again, it is just one of those things where it's like, if you want to bridge campers, just know that it's probably not going to be worth it for you. And we have so many points already, 158, that we can afford to do this every single time until you give us free reign of these bridges. And you know, I like that. I actually really like that. And that's fair enough. If that's how the Infinity want to play it out, they don't want to play scared. They don't want to back down from these duels. Okay, beautiful stuff. Reject's currently got a very strong position. It's a really nice compound for the time being. Yes, people have overlook onto it, but it's very hard to shoot down into it. Team Secret take a quick knock here from MS Chumbury. DRS, you know, they've let them in on their secret that Team Secret is actually
Mas no final é sempre no chinês? Não, vai ser no global o finalzinho.
Did they say that? Did they say that about them in the playground?
Yeah, DRS said that. I don't think Team Secret said a bad thing about anybody, but DRS, they've been spreading some bad rumors.
By the monkey bars?
Yeah, by the monkey bars, bro. By the monkey bars.
God, you can't be saying that
Just
stuff near the
evil.
monkey bars.
Yeah, come on, DRS, stop that. Mean. Really mean.
I'm telling you.
Everybody knows the monkey bars are a place of positivity.
Exactly.
And overcoming hardships.
Yeah.
Such as the monkey
A
bars.
For Evil bateu lá no meio.
I was a 3-bar swinger, I'll tell you that much.
Mas essas equipes aí, border safe, também não tão mal, não.
God damn, 3-bar swinger. Oh, yeah. Must have been flying.
Absolutely.
Essa posição da BTR é boa, hein? Essa posição da BTR. A 9 pontuou bem na primeira Super Weekend. Pontuou. Dá pra dizer que, meu Deus, boa, jogou certinho essa guy. É que não aparece eles nessa tabela aí, eles vão aparecer na geral. Essa daí é a tabela só pra quem tá jogando, entendeu? Mas eles pontuaram bem sim. A Nova vai passar, não tem como não. Vai passar pro final.
Will stop the push slightly. That's actually a decent nade into the smokes there. Stops any kind of push up towards that area now that they know they might be nading it. But another one comes through from Penumbra. Will take down Jasper now. MS Chumbury just down to the one player.
Nades coming on through towards the Harry Potter Tower. The team goes down. Enigma Galaxy eliminated in the meantime. DRS suffering pretty heavily there in a bit of a scrap on the kill feed there. They are going to go right at it with Genesis dominating. We're jumping on board with FaZe, looking at the oversight. This is a valley of death right now for DRS. Mafia Ninja looks to try and back up Gyalzen, but...
Naquele giro do esportes que os caras estão salvando, estão... Ó, agora... GD. Ah, eu também não quero que esse Cups pegue MVP, não. Salve, Beloli! Bom dia. BTR pode estar mal, mas fala a leitura safe deles, ocupa um safe move faz tempo já. É, a BTR acho que vai dar uma acordada, mano. Pra final eles vão passar. Nossa, não pegou. E aí, Aninha, bom dia. Fala, Xandão. Bom dia, mano. Foi, PMGC passada foi a Nova que ganhou. Nossa, fez a play. Fez a play.
They got into Super Weekend by the skin of their teeth, and they are not about to let that opportunity slip away from them. Vidan wants the challenge.
Bom dia, Rixel. Como estamos? Tranquilado, hein? Tranquilidade, quer dizer.
Yeah, they're out. Guess who's still in? It's Godtunny. He's still going. Oh, we love this guy. Solo player, Lazy Boy, now with nade in hand, looking for that final player for down. Looks like it's pretty fairly on target. Just goes fairly behind him. Will take down SK on intent.
Só tem mais um bater lá, velho. Marcando.
take too many fights, but this is a good disengage from Cryptics. They've got a lot of points here. They don't have to move too far forward. But who's this? It is GodTunny.
Oh, he's already tagged Lazy Boy quite a lot there. Not too many stims. In fact, no stims available for GodTunny. Lazy Boy pushes up and over the rock, but GodTunny's got the Kirk over the top and gets...
Vai pra cima!
I think there's a broadside
Tem só mais um.
Rico Infinity team as the Pepper comes from the back and it's spicing things up. Senke now healing up, moves around the edge.
O fone tá bom, ele escutou bacana. Ah, tomou capa, já era. Nossa, ele ainda conseguiu finalizar, velho. Meu Deus, 100k deixou finalizar, velho. Que porra é essa? Ó, a BTR tá bem na safe. Segurar aquelas casinhas ali, GG. A GD pode entrar tranquilo ali pela esquerda também.
But GodTunny once again just shown us he's never out until the bell actually rings itself. Down One Gaming just about making their way into this super weekend as well. Did a fairly good job in the last league play.
Olha isso, cara. Os caras não ficam... Ah, não. Só que eles não recuam, mas a ST é mesmo em 2.
They are so known in this position. 6-8 bullying Down One Gaming right now in their current position. Luckily, they are in the next circle.
Fala Z, 3TT. Nossa! Ah, não foi ele que pegou. Caiu pro lado. Caralho. Ó a phase. Ó a phase aí, ó. A phase que nem classificou pro primeiro Super Weekend. Salve, vilã! Tamo junto, meu querido. Bom dia, velho. Isso é verdade, hoje é sexta já. Porra, velho.
Towards 6-8 for the time
Como é que não pegou?
Quite been able to hold them off. I mean, 33Z now down. It's up to Sunan now to keep this one going. Only 2 first aid kits as well, so this fight realistically needs to go his way. They are in front of Down One Gaming, so they will have to move come next circle. These nades just aren't hitting for the time being. 33Z.
Ó, a BTR se limpar aí. Limpou um.
BTR though taking fights for Team Secret as well as Tongji.
Tá com 7 kills já, velho. 7 kills já, BTR. Caralho, fala pro táxi. E aí, Lucas Barbosa, como é que tamo, rapaziadinha? Mano, 7 kills já pra BTR. E eles estão no high ground ali, top. E aí, Elizinho, salve do Uruguai, maninho. Ó, que da hora, hein? Fala, Tratorzinho, bom dia, meu parceiro.
Very important part of this next circle, but MR5 stand in their way, and there's as well. Hang on a minute, it's not.
Mano, sei não, hein? Se a BTR conseguir limpar ali, vai dar eles. Fala, Renatão, como é que tamo, meu parça? Bom dia.
I will say Genesis Dogma in the recent days, they've kind of stepped up their game, to be honest with you. You know, they've got up those stairs, they've clambered towards the top side, they're looking good, they're looking a little bit out of breath, but it's fine at the time being. So really well done to them.
É, mas o Team Secret tá bem. Team Secret tá bem também. E é eles que podem complicar a BTR. Sim, sim, o Coruja já tá acordado, pode ter certeza. O Coruja sempre acorda pra assistir.
Towards the south side, and they're looking great. I love the confidence coming through from this team.
MR5 with the underarm wants to slow things down, drops that smoke again. FaZe and Bigatron both still alive, Blank, in this game. This is a great first game entry. To be able to survive to top 6, I think is really buoying confidence-wise for these.
Oh, meu Deus.
To come in and have this sort of an impact. Zuxi knocks on the high ground rock, but gave them a little bit of oversight into their forwards movement. MR5 finally dispatched, goes down.
Nossa, 8 kills pra GD, velho.
It's not great, but they did survive for quite a while. It should be okay.
Comer cuscuzinho, café, nossa, nem fala que eu tô com fome, velho.
I think there was a question posed on the desk for Team Secret too, which was, you know, is this a team that just starts out strong and then starts to taper off later? I mean, you're having the first part of the story written here, so you're at least getting chapter 1, which is where they do have a strong start, and it's up to them to continue it. Zuxi also goes down.
BTR tá em 2 só. É bom pra Team Secret, tinha que aproveitar e comer agora. Eles pegam aquela posição ali, aquele high ground. Mas a RC tá full.
But now they need to focus on one side. I don't think they can keep splitting their attention like this, and they'll need to deal with one side of the map
Qual é a sigla da
and then
RC?
slowly move their way around, especially if it's starting to getting this small on the circle.
Genesis Dogma still have
Eles ainda tem buraco ali pra...
Fabian, so close to danger. Sarah with the nade cook in hand, doesn't quite pull it out in time, but doesn't go down. Fabian doesn't quite land the spray. Sarah low as well.
Olha os caras da DWG fazendo a boa. Nossa, vai atrapalhar o jogo deles. Nossa, fudeu o jogo dos caras. Fudeu o jogo dos caras. Tô ligado, Xandão. Aí direto o pessoal come, né?
It's a bit of an awkward one. Reject, though, they're happy about it. They'll take the after party here, even if it means a little bit extra broom time for them, because it kept them in the
Nossa, a
game
RC
now, down to 4
tá
teams,
full, mas vai
12
ter que
alive.
entrar, né?
Genesis Dogma, Booms goes down. Reject have a little bit of a side swipe here, but they are going to have to push almost directly at Genesis Dogma in this scenario. The question is, are they going to prioritize getting in or guarding out the teams to their east?
It's a bit of a difficult one. I think for Genesis Dogma right now, it's about staying alive. Look, see those spots out. Divine will take the shots. He's going to go for the flush as well, but he's in the blue. He has to step up for this one. This is a crazy maneuver coming through from him. Yuhai goes down. I don't think Luxie's long for this world either, and he's the final player.
Oh my god, he's got around the site. How has he stayed alive? I feel like he didn't need to go for the flush there. Bigatron get eliminated, 4th place, but they get
foi.
This is a really good point scoring game for them. I think that's 6.
Não começou mal não, cara.
Reject now suffering with losing the players on the flank. Team Secret struggling to move through, and Genesis Dogma might just be able to sit back and relax on this one. Maybe just a little bit. Well, there are still guns pointed their way. See Duello on the flank, moving around the edge. Davor taking damage. Team Secret trying to recuperate.
I think for Team Secret right now, all their attention needs to be
Safe vai
towards
bater.
Tower because
Ele
Reject,
consegue
they're
segurar
not
Team
going to breach
Secret.
that hillside that Team Secret's currently playing. What they need to happen is they need Reject to cause problems for Genesis Dogma if there are any hopes in hell that they win this game. This position is so ridiculously strong.
O cara ficou
Genesis
torto
Dogma,
ali
and the way
segurando.
they're playing an outpost as well with booms.
Tá
It's going to be very
Vitamídia.
hard to get rid of. So far, pretty impressed with Genesis Dogma.
Nova que não
They just have to
passou
hold
pra
on to this
Super
one. I
que
think
tá
Team
quarto
Secret's
colocado.
a
Não,
case
Nova
of,
já tá classificado pra
do you want
final.
that second place or do you want the first?
Pontuou bem.
And
A nota de corte não é tão alta não.
requires you taking down Reject.
Oh, well, they might have just had a little bit of help and Reject fall
Deu
immediately. And then
Gates.
straight away after
Deu
that,
Gates.
everybody else gets wiped out.
Caralho, os caras fizeram uma porradeira de kill, mano, pra começar. Ó, tem uma até de cabelinho pintadinho. É isso. BTR vai ter que correr atrás, bem isso. Mas acho que dá boa pra BTR, BTR passa. Primeiro mapa, sim, primeiro mapa.
They're not too happy with the 8-man party. They're looking for more that 12-man party. But regardless, they know that if they want to get to the ball at the end of the year, they're gonna have to start
da direita, esses under aí, ó.
smaller party fights, you know,
Olha
right,
que
where
coisa
they
estranha,
find
cabelinho
the
desse
team, they
filho da
take them down,
mãe.
they find better position with the
Ele não
circle.
tem cabelo
I
aqui no
really like
meio.
this now because a lot of times we look at this
Ó,
team and they
parece
stack
que tá
names
careca,
towards
sei lá,
the
calvo.
circles because they
Daí
refuse
tem
to
uma
move
franja
so
loira
much
pra cá, uma
because
franja
they're
loira
afraid
pra
to take
cá.
fights with other teams on their
Que
own.
cara
This time,
estranho,
it's a whole
meu
new Genesis
irmão.
Dogma. They're looking a lot more proud, a lot more
Final vai
confident.
ser quando?
And these
22,
fights are
23 e
looking good too.
24
They're
de
very
dezembro.
simple. And I think the fight with FaZe MR5, yes, it's just one player, but they methodically got rid of him out of that building with well-placed nades, well-placed smoke, because they knew that what it took to finish that game out was at least 3 players. They could be down to 2 because they wouldn't have had the manpower to hold down the Wizard Tower. So really, really, really well played to Genesis Dogma this map. A lot of things went right here for them to pick up that chicken dinner.
Yeah, they absolutely stepped up to the plate, and I feel they rightly deserved that. I think they got quite a lot of kills in that game as well, if I'm not mistaken. They were picking them up sort of in dribs and drabs, but they really did start to all add up towards the end, so an excellent entry.
Parece texugo.
Should be pretty happy with that, I'd say all things considered. You can see that 8 kills towards this point where there were 14 remaining, and they're just picking up many, many more. 12 towards the end. Okay,
That'd be 16.
They take down.
16
Okay, there's 15. I thought I saw flash up towards the end, right in those rails. So it'll be around that. It'll be around that.
Pique fim de ano, XR corte. Parece o meu, que o meu tá mó bacana.
What more they can do over to the desk.
Ai, ai.
Yeah, would love to see more what they can do in the future. But I do want to point out, like, the fact that we've had Bigatron, FaZe Clan, Damwon in their very first match here in the Super Weekend to be able to put themselves in
Cara,
top
ele
6,
começou a
where
cabeça
the
não deve ter
Galaxy went
acabado a
out early.
energia.
That's a massive, massive
Começou,
feat for them,
fez o
because that
primeiro
means they're clawing out on that
Ó,
lead
30
that,
pontinhos
that
pra
Nigma
começar
have
o
over them.
dia,
But
pô.
Jersey's dog with 30 points
BTS
here.
classificou.
That is a great
BTS classificou.
The fact also that they
Foi a
get
primeira
themselves
partida deles em
15
Super Week.
elimination on
Fizeram
this game
16
because they were
pontos.
taking
Tem
all
que
the
ver como
time,
vão.
Tarzan, right? Multiple fights at the same time. They were fighting FaZe and MSC at the exact same time at one point, trying to also push himself into the circle. Like, they were fighting for these circles every single time, and the fact that they were able to make those 2 fights happen at the same time, despite being so split, is highly impressive, and I fully agree with the sentiment
Tem
of
que
Blank there,
acelerar
which
a
is
live.
they
Eu
were a
acho
team that was
estranho.
maybe a
Sim,
little
é
bit
pra
more
tirar o
hesitant, not
delay,
willing to take
Vitor.
the fights. This is a new Genesis dogma we witnessed on this first game. If
É,
they play like
BTR não
this
começou mal,
consistently,
velho.
they were already in a good position in terms of the overall rankings before this game. They were in 7th with
Nossa, 10 minutos.
123 points, man.
Então dá tempo de eu
They
ir.
can make it to
Vou
the
fazer um
finals.
Nescau
I
ali.
love this Genesis dogma. I want to see more of this Genesis dogma.
Nescauzão.
To be fair,
Eu ia
they
falar, alguém
started the
quer
pacing very well from phase 1, right? They say
fazer
this
Nescau aos
position is
olhos.
strong, and we're close to it. We're going
Pegar
to
alguma
claim
coisa
it
pra
as soon
comer.
as possible.
Morrendo de
And this will
fome,
slowly
cara. E aí, Rato, bom
maneuver
dia.
from that spot, from the middle of shelter, and towards winning the game. And that's not easy, because sometimes when you thought about being controlling around a segment, you may use up a lot of your resources. So that is some other skill that you need to factor in as well.
Oh, you can see our MVP actually going to be Zuxian.
Ooh.
Oh, I haven't said those words in like a long time, to be honest. And again, I mean, not to be like critical or to be negative towards them, but we just haven't seen Bigatron really this entire event. But in this first match, at least they step up and they show, hey, in Super Weekend, we can start to pick up some points here. But it's about not just one match. It's about being consistent here, about getting as many points as possible to catch up, maybe in particularly to the teams who didn't qualify in this Super Weekend.
Yeah, but before I touch on BTR, before I forget about it, Nigma Galaxy again 2 points. All getting a little bit spooky for them. We've got to be careful. We've got to see some more results from Nigma Galaxy. But yeah, BTR. This is the BTR that I want to see a lot more, because we saw it. Their macro was a little bit icky, a little bit all over the place in those league play sessions. But here they were proactive from the get-go, Jason. You had yourself some scouting done really proactively from, I believe it was Liquid. They regrouped. They went for 2-2 split on top of Lumber, and then they regrouped when they saw the circle centering on their position. This is the best macro I've seen from BTR this entire tournament yet.
Agreed.
There's still some potential improvements yet, especially in terms of speed. I think you mentioned Tarzan earlier, but if they play at this level consistently over time, I think they can easily catch up to the top 16.
Did you say icky, Max?
Icky, yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm just confirming. I wasn't judging, not at all. For you guys at home, remember there is a lot of things you can be winning. We have our fan favorite vote here. Make sure to go into the Esports Center and vote for your favorite players and your favorite teams, so you can unlock some various pink level items permanently for you and your account, as well as the treasure box. If you guys are watching the game currently within YouTube or within the Esports Center, you guys will get some currency that will lead up to you being able to purchase yourself one of these, again, permanent items. All about giving away these permanent items. But even beyond that, we're also excited to announce that the PMGC community tournament with Game TV is open for everyone. All you need to do is go register to play and get PMGC tokens and also a Google Play card. So a lot to be won up for there. A lot of things being given out to you guys, not to mention our amazing games. But we also now have Miramar to come up next here. And the question comes down to, will Bigatron, will FaZe Clan, will these teams, Damwon, continue to perform like this? There's only one way to really find out, to stick with us as we head to a short break here. We will come back with that second match.
Danny, ready for abstract.
much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to PMGC 2021. We are in our second super weekend, and we're getting into, have a little mini stroke there, our second match here of our first day in just a few seconds. Miramar to come up next, if you guys didn't know what the order is going to be. And of course, Sandhawk will be our fourth match when we do get to it. But our only Miramar for the day, and our only Sandhawk for the day. And you know, you two, Professor Tarzan and Maxman, who are putting up with my terrible hosting today. What are your expectations as we go into this?
Nah, you're doing fine, Jason. Don't worry about it. You're doing great as always. But I mean, Miramar, we know this map is typically the map where Reject tend to perform really well, right, Tarzan? They already had a really strong start of the day on Erangel, which was a map we were asking them to improve upon, which I think by now we can say they are good Erangel teams, so good job to Reject. But I'm wondering, especially as the BTL, where that conversation, right, Tarzan, are they going to continuously try and drop into Puerto Paraiso, or are they going to maybe go back to Picardo, where they used to drop in the past, which I would like, because that makes it super easy to find an entry point if you drop Picardo.
Yeah, I know you want to see some blood, Max, but I really doubt it, because the volatility of today's match is actually quite crazy, because a lot of the teams have not played this map since last Wednesday, so they are coming back in. It will be very, very chaotic, I think, when it comes to drops.
Well, we did get to see our MVP of Zuxseed. Now we can see him compared up against Daybot, which we've seen, well, a couple of times now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. 717 damage, 5 eliminations, 31% of his team contribution. I was actually hoping to see maybe Nickel in there, because that Overwatch position we got to see him playing from Tower was very, very impactful. The amount of information he was getting was insane, but obviously information isn't reflected when it comes to stats. Yeah,
Nickel was literally in the Harry Potter Tower just giving information like, you go over there, you get the kills, and I'll just relax from a distance while you guys are getting all those elims for yourself. It's great to see, but we're going to see the also average elimination points throughout the super weekend of Star Wars is going to be 7.4. Okay. If they could just hold remotely close to that average of eliminations, that would be insane.
Já passou a tabela?
I think Tarzan, a lot of people expect it to be more of a passive team. 6.1 average elimination is also highly impressive from them. Like, great.
Já passou a tabela?
It's quite huge, but the thing is, I feel like a lot of that's done in the early first half of the last super weekend.
Fala Camila, bom dia.
We don't know. We have not played this map for quite a while now, so teams might have had the chance to prepare already and really target them down. I mean, we already heard in that video that we mentioned, Max, like some teams are going to try to stop them entering the final. So whether they can still hold it down, this will be quite key on this map. They are known to do well.
I mean, to stop them from entering the finals, I mean...
Gladiator.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to think, where are they on the super weekends? They are... They were 8th place at 122 before we had that last
Ainda não? Ah, então GG. Nossa, nesse calzinho gelado pra começar o dia é muito bom. Já botei um pãozinho de queijo ali na airfry também e vamos.
If you're 6 to 8, well, you're in 12th place, so you're not really even safe yourself yet. If you lose these fights, you could be the one not going to the finals, and that would be a little bit bittersweet for them.
É, os que não passaram pra 2 Super Weekend já pode se preocupar pra caralho. Porque, pô, você ficar de fora de uma Super Weekend, beleza, você ainda tem 2 pra fazer uma pontuação foda. Agora, se não passar pra 2, difícil você correr atrás em uma só. Mas a nova terminou em 4º. Eu acho que tá de boa.
Sorry, go for it, Tana.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's the thing.
What was that?
We're talking about. I'm sorry, because it's so like pressing as a point, because we talk about psychology and all these things, having the right narration. These teams who know that it was their first game, they knew that they have chased so many points already. Enigma would be shaking, right? They already knew that we didn't have a lot of points to work with here.
Yeah.
And all these teams just got like a third of those points or even more in one game. Like that is
Professor Tarzan? É esse o Instagram do cara? É sério que esse japonês ele se chama de Professor Tarzan?
Yeah, not only that,
É isso que eu tô vendo.
You've got to try and be safe on, for example, your Damwons, your FaZe clans, your BTRs, but also you've got to keep in mind that there was also a pretty big point gap between 16th and 15th, so they've got to try and catch up to the likes of Cryptips.
Onde que esse arrombado tirou isso?
If they do similar results to what they did in that second league play,
Meu
they're
Deus
going
do
to be
céu.
aiming for that one of those top positions. So Neymar Galaxy are just
Salve
in
lá,
that
Ri.
middle position, which is so tricky, so stressful to be in, and I can't even stress out how important it is for them to also make in that third Super Weekend, because Neymar Galaxy, I would say, are in the worst
Queijo de manhã é a
position,
melhor
because BTR
coisa.
down one phase, they know
Nem me
exactly
fale.
around how many points they're
Tô
trying
louco
to
pra
aim for,
sair
so they're
ali.
going to adapt their playstyle because of that, whereas Neymar Galaxy are just in the middle of all that currently happening, so it's very hard for them, but we've seen them have some good games from time to time. I think they can pull through, but we need to see a way better performance from their first Super Weekend.
Yeah, and in Tarzan, I'm not sure like if either of you actually or you as well, Max, like have been able to really hammer down what Nigma
Quando
is
o cara é
potentially
Josh
doing
Chan,
wrong
ele podia fazer
necessarily,
alguma coisa
because
com Jack
again,
Chan.
it's so odd for us to see a team do
Bota
so well. Again, I think they were like third place
Tarzan.
overall in our first week of league play with 0 chicken dinners, and every other team around them except 4 rivals had one. And yet now going to Super Weekend, you would imagine, okay, just kind of retain that kind of performance, get a
Vai fazer
decent
leak
amount of
aqui.
points.
Ah, não, nesse
league
cal
play, but
kick,
they've
cara,
just
não me
completely
desce.
fallen off the wagon, and
Não vai
I'm
nem a
not sure
pau.
why or how or what is happening.
It depends if you're talking about on which map in particular.
Eu
For
falei
example,
algo
if
de
you're on
errado?
South, and I
Algo
talked
de errado
about
quando?
Stellaris already, which is they go for the heal off strat way too early, and that hurts them to potentially get a lot more elimination, a lot more placement points later on down the line. But for example, looking back on that last game, they went for 2-2 split. They tried to crash into the compound of Reject. There was just no proper organization on their side, and I think that I don't know if it's down to the IGLing. I don't know how the communications work internally for the team, but I think that having a proper strategy that you're just going to follow down to a T is what Neymar Galaxy currently need. I haven't seen that really work out for them so far.
Gostou da roupa dele, professor Tarzan?
Point in particular, I think they could improve their overall point averages every game.
Deu uma
I think it's about
viajada.
the repertoire. They need to expand their
Tá
repertoire.
bom, né?
They're very linear. It's very easy to predict what they're going to do, especially on Sandhawk. But for these other maps as well, it's pretty slow early game, and then they just fail to transition well. It's not just about early game to mid game. It's also from league play into Super Weekend. Like right now, they were doing these things that they might have.
Max Man Cast.
Can't find a difference between maybe decisiveness and really play. They need to be a little bit more prepared.
Jason Kaplan.
Okay, we'll find out if they are prepared. Just like our commentators, we're heading into the match here with John Allen Blank once again.
Opa, Miramarzinho. Faz dias que eu não
We
vi
are
no
always
Miramarzinho.
prepared, Jason. We are just always
A última só
ready,
teve Sandhawk e
raring to go.
Erangel.
Just like this Miramar game, we're going to be going fairly central La Cooperaria down to Puerto Paraíso. Over here in
Vamos ver
Miramar.
esses
Fairly
caras
central
jogando
playing
Sandhawk.
path, and actually
Miramar.
one of the first you'll see on this map.
Yeah, this is like the best playing path, almost like best actor Brad Pitt. So honestly, I am ready for this game.
Eu vi outro dia o nome da sono. Cara, eu também não gosto de filtro.
Sam Martin right in center here. So yeah,
Vou até baixar pouquinho aqui.
their positions around this map very easily here, John. Do you love the car flying down?
10 mil inscritos chega nunca? Também queria saber.
New animations, to be honest with you. We did get word towards the beginning of this tournament that we would be seeing lots of teams pulling out this one, especially because I really want this one in game as well, because it just looks so damn cool, into the Reaper parachute there as well, which is very cool. I don't think it is the Reaper parachute, but I like to think so.
It does look very cool, like best actor David Tennant going to be coming on through into this one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. That's pretty good, Scottish man and doesn't play sometimes.
Esse carro porque tá frio aqui, daí pra esquentar. Oxi, tá frio onde? Onde é que você mora? Ah, você é do Uruguai, né? Verdade. Nossa! Já chegou tomando. Então toma. Então toma. É boa, tira a música aí, que saco.
Fortunate. Fabian had the oversight.
Já chegou tomando. Pá, Tamele, pá.
Very much a hotbed. See what can actually
Right,
happen. Rico Infinity team happily snatched up those points as well onto Forest.
Vai com carrilha que chega.
Tarzan, the boys on the desk, all saying that these guys are quivering right now, scared.
Deixa eu ver aqui o ponto que ele está pronto.
BTR, FaZe Clan, Team Secret, all getting a huge amount of points, ready to catch up to them. Already you see down towards the bottom of the rankings, BTR, Damwon Gaming, FaZe 9, 10, 16. Just come into this when Nick Galaxy sat on a sad 49 with 16 games played. Ooh, John, terrifying stuff.
Oh, it's very scary, isn't it? Oh, goodness me. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's really going to take a little bit of time, the rest of this Super Weekend, really to decide who is.
Ainda não, deixar mais 4 minutinhos. Tá quase no ponto de pão de queijo, bacaninha, velho.
Okay.
That's my magic number.
Fala, Thiago.
If you're 200 or more,
Cadê a nova? Nova não passou.
Yeah, I mean, I find that crazy that the Infinity then, by your calculations, have already hit that 75% mark towards hitting that magic number already. Very crazy stuff. That is not an accurate percentage, I know, because they're 158. 150 would be 75%.
I was going to tell you.
Smart.
Ai, boy.
Yeah, I know, but I suspect.
Ah, agora você se espotou, animal.
Suspects Lons is against the vehicle, tries to hit these shots.
Vacilão.
Just a little bit more difficult with the iron sights on there. And Lons gets away nice and safely. I had a dream about Lons, actually.
Sozinho aí, mano. É isso mesmo?
Yeah, I do
Atropel,
actually. I had a dream that Tongji about won Miramar.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? On my
Fala,
day off, I was
Krukov.
dreaming about
BTR tá indo bem?
Actually,
Tá, Camila.
he was called Lands, and the
Dá pra dizer que
casting
tá
called
mal.
him Lands, and I was
Começou
like, no,
mal,
he's called
porque
Lands,
essa é a
guys,
primeira play deles em Super Weekend, certo? Eles não jogaram a primeira Super Weekend.
I don't know. It
Aí
could have been
começaram
better,
com
but
16
I
pontos.
don't know. I'm just not sure.
É, mas no geral não tá indo bem, porque se você ficou de fora de uma Super Weekend, você não tá indo bem.
I watched that. I watched that.
I watched that duo. Yeah, that would be a cool duo.
Nova
BTR,
chance dele não passou?
very much
Não
central
passou,
at the
não.
moment, down towards Mina Generales. I really do like this from BTR.
É, BTR comeu o jogo no segundo.
Honestly, during this
Vitória.
tournament, after that first
Bora.
league play in Super Weekend. But
Passei
to
um
be quite honest
cafezinho
with you,
agora, aí sim,
I
Aninha.
will reminisce on all the taunts we cast out, and I hope that you'll do the same, John, because I'm pretty sure you remember.
Eu até ia
every
passar um
time we
café,
would
mas
say
que
stuff about
preguiça
BTR,
de
like,
esquentar a água.
they're not as good as they were, and then suddenly
bom.
they're like, no guys,
Mas nesse
we're
cal
still
mesmo
pretty
hoje.
good. Just takes us a lot of time to warm up in these tournaments for some
Dormir,
strange
será que
reason.
tempo mais
So
um? Não.
yeah, it's very odd. So I have
Desde se
faith
dormir,
that
ninguém
BTR
aguenta.
will make it into the finals. I do actually have faith here because there's been so many times where I've been served a hot platter of having to eat my own words when I talk about BTR. So many times, so many times. I'm getting
Sweet
full
dreams
on
are
those type of
made
words.
of...
They are the comeback kids. I mean, they are a Super Weekend team. Like, they don't always perform in league plays, but they come into these and just sort of turn it around.
Fala, Coringa, bom dia, mano.
Coming in with 16 points on the first game.
Você tá valendo o nome do cara Pamburu?
We've seen
Não.
them clutch out Miramars before.
Volta lá, quero ler o nome do
Yeah,
cara.
less than the
They
number of
botch.
players one would think would be ideal.
TD
I know,
Gigs.
right?
Either way, definitely a team still to be reckoned with. There is no
Isso aí é o
dead
quê?
horses in this tournament.
Absolutely not. Everyone is still
Bandeira
going.
que é
They might
essa?
be limping, but
Polônia?
they're still going. I don't expect anyone
Qual é
to
essa?
stop anytime soon. I think with BTR though, just that last game as well, if we do a quick little bit of analyses, you know, it was interesting that Luxy did go out into the blue to get that flush, and it
Terceiro
could
dia
be seen
vestido
as a mistake. It
paletó de
also could
madeira.
be seen in another way is that BTR realized, you know what, we're most likely not going to win this game, and we already have a lot of kills, so let's just get one more kill on the board. That's a sweet 16, and we can then go from there and try and pump up our points in our next 14 games, because they have quite a lot of games to run with. So if they're just prioritizing
E 4 dias sem dormir estudando pro Enem. É qualidade
zero
zero do estudo, né, meu parceiro? É comprovado que você precisa dormir para assimilar a informação, né? O Pika tá amassando? O cara nem viu o Pika ainda nesse primeiro jogo, hein? Apertou sense do 12 tá 100%? Não, tá 0%. Eu só peguei a sense do 8 Plus e tá lá. Eu nem peguei uma sense do 12 ainda. Tá foda ainda, mas beleza. Indonésia?
Punching up. I mean, the Infinity
Ou
looked
Alisson.
uncatchable
Yeah,
last
no.
week, but here we are with 3 teams knocking on the door. Well, pretty
Nossa,
much 4 or 5
GDIs
teams
é
actually,
Indonésia.
knocking on the door at the start of this Super Weekend, which is good. It adds to the whole
Yeah.
flavor of the thing.
Adds to a lot of excitement. Unfortunately, I think that we already have. I think we do actually have a dead horse.
TJB Bambu. Puta, na hora que eu olhei os caras era Bambu, esqueci o nome dele.
Yeah, I don't think that BC
Já tinha
Smoke can make
5,
it
que é o
into the
D5
finals. I think it's
MX.
over. I think they're after
Tudo tem
knocking-
MX.
That is
Veio
the
do
difficulty
5,
with this new format,
Shot
which
Z,
is 3 Super Weekends instead of
Jumper
4,
D1.
so we've really reduced the amount
Os
of
caras
time
fazem
these players are all playing.
senha pro
You
Instagram,
know, I'd prefer this
nome.
format because it
Tem um
allows
maiúsculo,
for less
minúsculo, ponto de
deviation
interrogação.
from the norm, and less chances. And although more chances is great, yeah, that's
Was that the
unfortunate.
Pubg
Just
tá
drops on your
foda,
head.
viu?
That's
Tá
from last
botando
game.
todo
Yeah,
mundo se
unfortunate stuff
fudendo.
for iShots there. Still gets back on his feet. Although it provides less chance, I think that's a good thing. Like I said, because
A Infinity
you
joga bem.
want to get the best
Tá em
teams
primeiro,
in
mas
there.
você
If
vê
they're
que,
playing
ó,
at their best,
diferente
they
da
should be able to
S2G
make
que
it in the
tá,
best of three
que
super
acabou tendo
weekends.
uma
But if you
semana
miss out on two, it's curtains.
vida,
It
né?
really is curtains.
Não tem ninguém muito
I agree. I
distante. Você
think
vê ali,
that,
ó, um 5-8, um
whilst it is
5-3,
unfortunate
4-4,
they haven't been able to
3-9 e
make it
tal.
so
Meio
far,
embolado.
if they have played to the standard that these other teams have played, if they had played better, quite frankly, they would be.
If you had done better, you would have been better, and you would have been here.
It
All right?
seems so.
That's how
It seems self-evident, right? But sometimes it just needs to be. It does need to be said, right? You just need to play better,
Ele de
sometimes, which is
Mônaco.
unfortunate because they're obviously a very
Sabia não.
talented team. To be able to
Tô
make
fora
it
da
here,
geografia.
even to qualify for PMGC East League is a
Pegar mais pão de queijo.
nutty accolade to have.
Yeah, it is a huge accolade, and it's something that you could put on your banner, put on your tweeters, put on your Instagrams, wherever you want it to be. On Facebook, you can just have it as like your profile photo. I don't care, do what you want. But to be honest with
Send it to you now.
Yeah, send it to you now. Send it to you now in a little postcard. That's the way to be. FaZe taking shots over towards BTR, off in the distance towards La Bandita, just skirting around the circle side there, like a couple of toboggans. So we will see how far these guys do get, but they're very much towards the middle of the map right now, so a lot of options available to them. That next circle, going to change things slightly, with Picardo more in the mix now, with the Infinity as well as Rico Infinity team coming through on that area. No Deadeye guys just yet to look at really for us, so they won't be heading over towards Picardo. We'll have to deal with them, will the Infinity or Rico Infinity team this super weekend. That's very staccato, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll bring it a little bit back to the legato and draw things out.
Yes, thank you.
Smoother on the musical terminology.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I'll be alright.
I do appreciate that.
Four Rivals making it smoother
when
as
words
well.
fail,
Oh.
music speaks.
Ooh, I like that. Is that a tattoo?
Yeah. Is that a tattoo on me? No.
Have you had that?
I
you had that
I
tattoo?
like how
Have you?
I like how you think that all my good quotes, like I've just got tattooed on my arm, just so I get almost like a test. I can just look at my palm and like, oh yeah, this is a good one. This is appropriate for this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you can look in a mirror and be full of wisdom. You do that anyway.
Very narcissistic. Yeah, I'll do that anyway, to be fair, so it's fine.
Grudou tudo no fundo da airfry, que bosta. Tá gostoso.
Quite literally, this map. So we will see
Pão de queijo
how these guys
quentinho.
can do. But 628, they've been playing a lot more aggressive, I'd say. Very, very aggressive. Almost to their detriment last game. But they're just taking fights, and if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Currently sat in 9th place, 104.
Ah, primeira semana da DWG também, né? FaZe, DWG e VTR.
I wouldn't say it's one of the only teams,
Era
but they're a
semana.
team that's not hugely high up in the rankings that I'm not terrified for whatsoever. I think every single league play, they put up a very decent performance, enough of a performance to get into the Super Weekend at least, and I can make a prediction right now that they will make it in the third Super Weekend. I have no doubts in my mind of that. So I think for 628, they're just really pushing the brand.
Em duas STE, né? Uma de um país, outra de outro.
Very important in these type of lobbies, especially where you can come into this with a mindset of, God, we don't want to really take too many fights because these guys are at the top of their game.
Eu gosto da camisa da INSTA também.
We don't want to take
Bonita.
too many fights because that will most likely lead to disaster. 628, on the other hand, they're like, let's fight this team, let's fight that team, let's see how good they are, let's see how we fare against these guys. So that's great. I actually really appreciate
Liga Nova não
it.
passou.
And if they have the chops to do
Segundo
it,
Super Weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if they've got the points to
Liga
back it up as well,
Nova.
because you're looking at, to be good, if you're getting into every Super Weekend, about 70 points per Super Weekend, and you should be all right. So even if you're
Bom
not
dia, Felipão.
always winning those fights, you're losing, some of those chances. You are testing that limit, right? And you're knowing where the top end of your variance plays can.
SST é a chinesa.
You know how far you could push it to take.
Qual que é o seu Insta? O meu é igual, é Ferzote TV.
Reward
Ferzote
that
TV.
in general benefits you over the longer form of these super weekends. You've got 45 games if you're qualifying for all three. So you can take risks, and on average, they'll work out if they're the right decision.
Tô em pêsames.
Exactly. We've got our new
Quer dizer que você tá em luto?
package, which blends in
Isso.
perfectly with Miramar, so that could be quite interesting.
Pêsames é tipo o meu sentimento. Pêsames é uma lamentação. A outra é da Mongólia. F nova nas finais? Nada, Augusto. Eles estão na primeira Super Weekend, eles terminaram em quarto. Então eles não estão mal. Não vai ser difícil eles passarem para a final. Vai ser de boinha. Mas, Alisson, a Team Kiss tá meio saturada, tinha que mudar o time. Tem que mudar o time, não adianta. Tem que mudar o time. Tá bem saturada. Não tem como não.
Very strong team, definitely so. Sat at the top of our tables. Genesis Dogma, apparently equally strong. I mean, we had our criticisms about this team coming from last Super Weekend, coming from League play as well, but they seem to have assuaged that a little bit in that last game. They played more proactively, and they've reaped the rewards. 153 points now to 158 for the Infinity. The closest
É o Luiz André, Secão.
been in a long time. Down one, try and sail through, and they'll be able to make the passing as well.
Ó, tô assistindo nós. Tamo junto, meu parceiro. Obrigado pela moral.
And immediately Fabian falls, Juni out in the open as well, taking heavy damage. Liquid looking to guide it out, spots the crossing through from Sung and tracks it back as well, gets the spray down, and immediately Damwon dispatched. Zuxi does get knocked, but they'll be able to get
Nossa, DWG foi.
First to go down yet again, Damwon.
É, DWG que já ficou de fora de uma Super Weekend. Segunda partida já morre cedo. Tem não, hein?
This is an interesting fight, considering, you know, Stalwart is great in terms of these gunfights. Just T-posing on him, that's fair play.
Ó o Pica aí, ó. Ó, o Pica tá caído.
Ih, meu Deus.
O cara tem mania de ficar jogando HEs. E pegou! Não. E o outro não foi lá. Vai dar pra levantar o Pica. Ih, ele pegou na HE, eu já ia criticar. Salve, Thiago! E aí, Luizão, desce quebra. Pegou. Foi. Aí o Pica. Já era. A Ayala tinha que jogar algum time BR, eu também queria ver o Ayala jogando. Nova tem quantos mundial? Não sei. Quantas equipes do Leste e Oeste passam para finais? 9 do Leste, 6 do Oeste e um convidado da Índia.
DRS able to take them out of the way, so really well done. Luxie has been removed from the BTR roster, so they're down to 3. Enigma Galaxy playing it very slowly. Well, this next circle, this is absolutely fine for them. Heads over towards that western side. That's going to be a massive migration from that southeast.
To me, this is where Genesis Dogma need to prove that they have upped their game, and it wasn't just a one-off in that last game. They are right on the outside, and they are right behind every other team on this south edge. It's going to be tricky, and they need to make it happen. The question is, can they do it?
Leste também na safe.
The bar which they set themselves in Erangel.
Yeah, this is one of
the Morro de Greyhound é uma boa também.
Push for Genesis Dogma.
Salve, Leandro! Não, tô ligado, Alisson, mas várias vezes você vê os caras morrendo porque tá com a HE na mão.
Playable spots will be taken up early. There's going to be a lot of fights early. Tongji about, they've just about made their way in. Team Secrets also coming towards their position, but they do have a forward scout up towards the top side. So he should just be able to spot out these players before they come in. But it's the Infinity versus Reject.
Olha o refrag da Infinity aí. O Mela caiu. E se o Mela pega o Pica, cara? Eles podiam fazer uma boa dupla, né? O Mela Pica.
This southern push is deadly. Mela down, Reiji on the off angle there, but Divine is the only player for Reject in this position, and an aid over the top, looking to keep this one going. Ragey falls, and now it is just Divine looking to push over the top, up and over, maybe get a flush, maybe get two, but Duello wants to get this res.
Claro, Augusto. Cara, tá difícil pra caramba. A gente já viu, esse campeonato não vai ser fácil não. 3 vagas, tem 3 times BR. É bem difícil que os 3 classifiquem. Já vai ser difícil um classificar, entendeu? Porque vai ser difícil, não vai ser fácil. Os 3 então, vixe, não falo nada. Nossa, putaria que tá aí de gente.
To burn it away as well. There's a Molotov. It's going to push Marshall towards this vehicle.
Nossa.
Take a nade and Snicker will go down, but Marshall falls almost as fast. And this is the proactivity that we wanted to see, Blank. They move. They
Você vê que os asiáticos trabalham muito bem arremessáveis.
They carve it out on their own will.
Eles fazem muito uso de arremessáveis.
Understanding this is probably the safest way in is just guarding out on that blue edge and then going from there. So really well done to Genesis.
Não, Thiago, não classificou.
Newsy takes a knock from along the way from Rico Infinity team who will be holding.
Isso foi só você falar que é da FaZe, Pedro. Olha lá, ele já perdeu 2.
As did the Infinity, but the Infinity was looking for a proactive push down towards that eastern side. So I think Rico Infinity team, I would say, have been a little bit stagnant during this game, but it's worked out for them, considering the circle did make such a hard shift over towards the west side.
Playzone claims one of Genesis Dogma as they make their push in towards the circles. 4 rivals just next to them, their neighbors in arms here. They're going to try and guard out the Infinity, and Cryptics who try and sail through. El Chapo in the buggy on the dunes.
Ah, não sei, não é bem assim, Lipezinho. Final é final, é tudo muito jogo rápido, entendeu? Qualquer um pode passar, qualquer um pode ficar de fora. 3 dias de finais, jogo rápido. Jogo rápido. Tudo pode acontecer. O Rio que tava no meio da safe agora. Bom, se bem que eles conseguem entrar tranquilo ali. Tem que limpar a direita.
Booms is healing out in the blue. Wants to get the spray down as well. No first aids left, but takes one of 4 rivals. Will lay down his life for the rest of the
Ainda deu a kill.
Give
Boa.
them that chance to move forwards and take it they will. Genesis Dogma get into the circle with 2 players alive. 4 rivals now need to move against Infinity's tide, moving in from the south.
Yeah, that's a seriously interesting play from Booms, and one that I hugely respect. I don't think a lot of times we see self-sacrifice during these games to
Sim, cheats. É uma arma foda, né, cara? Souber utilizar arremessáveis é de... Nossa! 2 na explosão.
In this sense, though, Genesis Dogma, they've managed to distract 4 rivals enough that they've got into a fairly awkward position for other teams to actually attack.
Trabalho tá jogando esse camp? Tá, mas eles estão de fora. Eu quero ver a Pittsburgh fora da final. Fora da final eles não ficam. Ah, fora da final geral, no caso. Também não torço pra Pittsburgh, não.
Very archaic, you know.
Fala, bala doida.
Like a dinosaur fossil is how old that one is. MS Chumbury though, for a few more shots over towards DRS. You know, DRS, I think more than likely right now, this is keep us alive play, right? You know, they're not looking to fight MS Chumbury, just looking to keep them at bay. With this side of the wall of the church as well, there's no windows, so they're fairly safe overall. And they're just waiting for other teams to come into the action.
Nossa, cara, olha que bola essa parte full aí da safe. Caralho, velho. Ninguém pra parte direita.
Actions like, hand me the phone, I'll do the 180 for you, then you can play again. Don't worry about it. We'll be back in the mix. 4 rivals, Penumbra. Back here, trying to make their way in. Genesis Dogma, once again, they have that shack Really nice play. They don't really have a lot of sightlines coming out of here. They will get assailed by grenades. Luckily, a lot of teams are currently, you know, up in arms. Fists are locked in action. So Genesis
Cara, não sei se aquela parte da frente aí da Rival tá safe. Não, deixa eu ver. Já tem 3 equipes. A Infinity que não tá muito bem. Mas a Gitz de volta bem na safe. E ali onde tá FaZe é de boa. Aqui ó, a galera que vai ter que entrar. Tá maluco o tamanho da safe, tanto de gente que tem ainda. Nossa. Ó, e o Lux e o Zux só pegando kill. A Mini. Ele gosta de Mini, hein? Direto ele tá pegando o kill com a Mini. Fala, Tavis, bom dia.
We'll see, you know, I think there's one more today. One more tomorrow, so we'll find out then, right? But for the time being, we're watching Enigma Galaxy. Now, this team 0 kills right now. They've really not done a lot. I think that for the time being, this has just been a case
Parecia que não ia derrubar.
Galaxy. How far in this game can we get? But even so, going down in 10th is not going to afford you a lot of points, especially with the fact they've got 0 kills. They're trapped on the western side of the circle. I don't see this team going much further.
Oh, this is the Genesis Dogma test right now. Daybot gets the heal off, has to move
O Zux caiu, finalizado. Aí Boy explodindo a Team Secret. Aí na For Rival não tá mal não. Ninguém com muita PTR foi. Oitavo. 7 pontos. É.
7th place, so not bad. With the Infinity going down, they're still in the top 6. The Infinity with 5 kills total. FaZe right in the center now, though. They're going to be assailed by a lot of different teams at the moment, all looking towards that position. So many teams all being able to hold in this area, though, because of the ditches that are available to you, the rocky outcrops that you can hide in. It is a very interesting type of terrain that we're playing at the moment.
O cara faminha por kill, levanta o cara lá, porra. Levanta teu parça, meu irmão. O maluco ali também. Vamos ver onde é que vai fechar essa próxima safe aí. Mas se time trabalhar o Hagar.
Force all of the other teams to put that pressure onto each other rather than bearing the brunt of it themselves.
Wow, circle heads all the way up to the eastern side now. FaZe actually have an opportunity to get into it, but Team Secret
again. Se a Team Secret tiver uma negativa ali, GG pra eles. É só segurar. Salve, Leão. É o secão. Ó, veio deixar like nas duas contas. Aí sim, parça.
Unironically. Looking at this, though, we'll see how far Enigma Galaxy can go, because I think that they will need to make this astute rotation down towards the south side, which they've already done, which is smart. That is not ironic, I'll tell you that now.
There we go, Jasper forward position, jumper goes down and out wide goes.
Não segura.
Player for Team Secret and down fast he goes to Ponzite. Will get rest here and they can push a little bit further in. FaZe still trucking. They're still trucking on that side.
Mas eles têm uma negativinha ali na frente. Tá, porra, fez a boa ali o maluco, hein? É hora dos times pegar o third party pra cima. Ah, mas tá caindo. Vai, NGX! Porra é essa? Ah, não.
I mean, they might win this game. I will say that it will not be in a very impressive win, but they might win this game, which I think Enigma Galaxy they'd be happy with.
Fala, Naipe. Não, é só da Inco mesmo. PUBG. Normal. Boa. É isso, Ralph.
I don't like that play one bit. I'll be honest. An income MS Chonburi pushing across that ridge side with just the one kill from Enigma Galaxy. 9.
Vai dar MSC. Vai dar MSC.
Taking heavy punishment. One player standing for each of the pretenders to this one. Another nade over the top.
Se eles não derem o pull, vai dar MSC.
Isolated. Ridgeline spotted out. Hamadi falls. Just the players from 4 rivals.
I mean, it would be an incredible comeback if 4 rivals can get back into this one, but Penumbra going down, the final play being so low, that's MS Chamburi taking the win. The Sharks, they have
esse time é aquele time que joga o básico. Cabecinha da porra.
And then they really come to form in these final moments of the game. So very well done.
Ideia foi bem essa queda? Não.
Sandhawk, once they get to those like closed off circles, I feel like these are TDM kings, right? They're very good.
Ah, entendi, Secão.
Nigma Galaxy.
Dale, meu parceiro.
I'm not impressed, to be quite honest with you.
Se vê, eu quero que passe a foto desses caras aí. Ah, você tá na autoescola vendo? Aí é... Oi, meu parça. Aí sim. I don't
categorically
care,
bad play.
Baby.
I feel like stopping that. I mean, I think I could have excused it if it was.
Esses caras gostam de jogar de mini, hein?
The other bit of the ridgeline.
Galera, dá valor pra mini.
They knew where 4 rivals were. They know that there's a ridge that they have just straight up side.
Minizada.
Got out the wrong side and just died. So I don't know. Maybe we probably shouldn't talk about it too much going forward. But I mean, it wasn't great.
Yeah. It wasn't the best. I think for BTR, Team Secret and FaZe once again getting into our top 5 is fantastic news, honestly. Really good stuff. And I don't want to see this performance from Team Secret fizzle out. It shouldn't. They're looking good. I want the bonfire to get going for Team Secret. I check out their Instagram all the time. You know, they've got some sick memes, and now they've got some sick plays in the match too.
Absolutely, and as well, during that game, we saw a confirmation that Genesis Dogma seemed to have changed something.
MR come solto, assim, eles deram aquela upadinha também, né? BTR tá com média boa, 11 pontos por queda por enquanto. É, se tiver com a média de 11 pontos por queda, GG. Mas só que tem que pensar que é o seguinte, não tá 11 pontos por queda. Por quê? Porque BTR não passou para a primeira Super Weekend. Então, se terminar no final do dia com 11 pontos por queda, a média vai ser 5 pontos por queda, entendeu? Porque tem as quedas do Super Weekend que é como se tivesse zerado tudo primeiro. Salve, Jordani! E aí, bom dia. MSC é nome de navio. Por MSC que eu fui ou fui no... Ah, não. 15 minutos? Ah, não, velho. O primeiro foi rapidinho, 10 minutinhos ali, pá, pum. E esquecer você, não foi um beijo na boca, verdade acabou, foi papum. Jedi Guides, tem que saber o nome dessa Jedi Guides. Ainda não sei os nomes, só tô vendo pela sigla. Sei da Team Secret só. Mas a nova então já tá fora do Mundial? Não, tá fora do Mundial não. Tá fora dessa segunda Super Weekend. Da primeira participou. São 3 Super Weekend. Da Super Weekend classificam pra final regional.
Max and I were thinking about where are they going to drop, right? Are they going back to Picado? Do they stick to Puerto Perizo? No, they take away Nova's drop spot, right? So they
tabela geral.
A stronger segment early on, and they transition okay. And I mean, Yuhai has earned his spot. I feel like we will see him towards the end of the tournament. Hopefully, I'm talking about end, but BTR as a team needs to do quite a lot more.
Well, we can see our current overall standings from this Super Weekend only. See Genesis Dogma.
Ah, isso é uma tabela da segunda Super Weekend. Nossa, tabela separada, eles não mostram a tabela geral. Meu Deus, que doido. Deu um tilt aqui. Eu já fui no MSC Orquestra. É, o MSC Orquestra é da hora, velho. Eu fui no Costa Fascinosa. no... Nossa, foi em formatura. Fui em Carnavil. Legal pra caralho. A autoescola está sendo online, a foto que eu te mandei na... Ah, entendi. Tem o Cruzeiro que é MSC Preciosa, MSC... Fabulosa, acho que tem também. Quais são os seus favoritos desse time aí? Top 5 pra você? Jordani. Tô acompanhando pouco ainda. Não posso afirmar com toda certeza. Mas eu acho que essa Leste... Não dá pra deixar nova de fora. Infinity, com certeza. Tá jogando muito. E aí, Tom Esquiseira, bom dia. Bom dia, Chaves. 7 joga à tarde? Isso, a partir das 3 da tarde. Esses times aí é muito forte, velho. São praticamente o mesmo nível. Até pra mais, né? Bonita a camiseta? Sim, essa camiseta é bonita pra caralho, velho. Gosto da cor roxa.
Yeah, and if you guys are finding a way to get some more permanent items for your PUBG Mobile account, well, luckily for you, we have 2 different ways to do so. The first one with the
Eu tô ansioso, daqui 5 dias tem Homem-Aranha. 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 Onde está o Homem-Aranha?
Happening still at the moment. You guys just need to be watching within, well, again, the Esports Center over on YouTube. You collect some points you can use to eventually unlock some permanent items for
consegui a
yourself.
pré-estreia do Homem-Aranha. Fala, Jardson. Como é que tamo? Bom dia, meu pai.
And you also get some PMGC tokens and potentially a Google Play card if you guys are successful enough. A lot for you guys to win and a lot for us to enjoy here on the show as well. It's pretty much just non-stop PMGC and PUBG Mobile throughout this entire month. But we will be heading into our 3rd match in a, well, you can see in 10 minutes time. And it's going to be our second Erangel of the day, I should say. But that will all be coming after a short break, so we'll see you guys then.
Liga pro Vitor? Ah, não, o Vitor tá acordando tarde pra caramba. Não vou acordar os outros, não. E tem compromisso, tem campeonato, as coisas. Não vou acordar, não. Daqui 4 dias do meu aniversário. Esse lado é mais equilibrado que o nosso, bem mais equilibrado que o nosso, Lucas. Você vê ali ó, que qualquer vitória do time que tá no top 8 já foi em primeiro. E aí, mano? Bom dia, mano. Bom dia, mãe. Tô bom, Chaves, e você? Mais 5 minutinhos, hein? Quem pode estar acordado é o Rod? Não, tá não. Vai acordar tarde. O Rod vai acordar mais tarde, quer dizer. Eu vi a última mensagem dele aqui de madrugada, que ele mandou, era bem de madrugada. E que você completou 1 ano de live, né, irmão? Parabéns, que Deus abençoe cada vez. Ainda não. Não completei 1 ano de live. Mas daqui uns dias vai. Uns dias vai ser 1 ano de live. Nossa, quanto tempo passou, hein? Muita coisa rolou nesse 1 ano aí. É o que o YouTube indica pra assistir nesses 5 minutos aí. Por que a China constrói cidades fantasmas? Eu queria saber também, velho. Não vai dar tempo de ver. Revelado quem criou os zumbis. Bacana, bacana. Quanto tempo tem? 4 minutos. Vamos ver aqui o do Frajola. Solo versus Squad. Os melhores momentos. Pô, ele fez uma live de 5 minutos. Ah, achei que fosse tipo um highlight. Ele fez uma live de 5 minutos. Meu Deus do céu. 10 sintomas iniciais da diabetes. Esse lado sendo mais equilibrado nosso me assusta em relação aos brasileiros. Afinal, vai ser muito difícil, tem que melhorar muito pra pensar em brigar. Ah, cara, mas o que tinha que melhorar já melhorou ao longo do ano. Agora é torcer e chegar lá e dar o melhor, tá ligado? Agora não dá tempo de melhorar mais nada. Agora daqui tem que chegar, jogar o que sabe e é isso. Se tiver muito disparelho mesmo, treina o ano inteiro para no que vem estar mais equilibrado. Mas a gente tem que torcer para estar mais equilibrado. Não tem que torcer para lá na China tá... Tem que acreditar, velho, que tá equilibrado, que vai dar boa. Se a gente ficar torcendo pra na China continuar mais forte, a gente vai continuar na mesma. Esse jogo vai acabar pra nós no Brasil, velho. Já tá foda a situação. Se a gente quis torcer pra ter razão, dizer que a China tá melhor e que a gente tá muito atrás, cara, esquece esse jogo.
They get a team wipe, so they don't know there's anyone else in this building. They think it's finished, they think it's done. Minority, Jimmy finds one. There's another up top side.
Nossa, cara duro da porra. Almoçar e ver tua live? Oxe, você vai almoçar 9h30 da manhã? Olha um vídeo meu aí, Fer. Mas que vídeo tem do PUBG? Tem 1 minuto só, depois a gente olha. Tem highlight no meu canal? Pode deixar, depois eu vejo um highlight teu então.
Oh my god! He's lying his weight. He's gonna line it up, but he gets spotted out, and it is gonna be the chicken dinner going the way of TJB somehow.
Esquecer você não deu trabalho nenhum. O cara fugindo foi foda.
Oh!
Get to the tree. That's your cover. Get over here! Get your teammate involved.
I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation.
Entendi, em Portugal.
Let's see if he has any.
Ah, você mora em Portugal, entendi.
This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves. Got the PMGC outfit. He looks clean. He's right up the top of the car. I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now?
Magic Man himself to tar, but in comes another player. Ooh. To try and what for this time? Oh, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean,
Puta, é uma bosta quando você cai no meio do nada, não consegue pegar carro. Essa mulher da sniper? É snipera? Ah, porra. Arcane, ainda não assisti, tem que assistir esse Arcane.
Which team? Well, that'll be your choice of who you want to do it against, and well, hopefully for you, you're gonna be able to perform to be able to beat them. I don't know where I'm going with this one, so I'm just gonna stop and change topics here. I'm just capping. We got Maxman, Professor Tarzan as well here to break down these matches. And gentlemen, we're heading into our second Erangel of the day. We did obviously get to see Genesis Dogma and the performance with Nickel in the tower, with the oversight we saw him have before. But we have seen yet again, I mean, FaZe Clan. Another great performance out of them. We're seeing Bigatron, another good performance out of them. We're starting to see some consistency out of teams that we really haven't been able to see before.
O que significa isso? Definitely.
Consistency throughout the players. Every single player almost has got 6 eliminations each. You're looking at, for example, Daybot, Nickel, and also Booms. All of them have 6 eliminations, which is very impressive throughout only 2 games so far. I'm really wondering if they can try and build upon that a little bit more, because I like seeing a confident Genesis Dogma here, Tarzan, going out for those extra frags, going out for the extra points, and especially if you get frags on top of it, and you're just going to, by default, able to get yourself to the late game a little bit more. So I like this on Genesis Dogma, but I want to see more continuity in what they're trying to build.
I like it because it's about flexibility. We talked about the word repertoire and the style. Like, I think, as opposed to Enigma Galaxy that we mentioned before, that's quite predictable. Genesis Dogma has never really stayed on one way to play the game. We start from drop locations. They dare to change when it comes to early games. They dare to come very quick on the first rotation, but then knowing what it takes to slowly transition into the later game. Like Blank mentioned on that broadcast, like a player like.
Vai fazer live da PMGC tarde também? Sim, normal. Acho que vai ter contest entre os BR e China? Provavelmente, algum spot vai ter. Algum spot com certeza vai ter.
Okay, well, let's head over to our commentators. You saw about 20 seconds till we hop into that next match. We got Imperium and Bled to take us away.
Well, thank you for that, Jason. Analyst Stop Talk, Casters Take Over is the call, and we're jumping into our first game, but the third game of the Super Weekend here, Imperium. And listen, I know we had a day off, but I was just looking to see how some of these teams who hadn't made it to the Super Weekend, how they're going to be faring.
No jogo sempre que entra tem alguma skin.
I'm looking very happy at the fact that BTR FaZe have stepped up to the plate.
Nós estamos no terceiro mapa já, 9h30 da manhã ainda.
First Super Weekends respectively, putting a lot of pressure onto the likes of course, Enigma Galaxy, Cryptics, and a couple of other teams who didn't qualify in Super Weekend into Super Weekend number 2. For me, their target in my eyes is Nova's points, right? They need to take over Nova, which is 126 points, which is an average of 8.4 points per game. Right now, BTR are on a total of 22. That's 11 points per game. So they're in a really strong mix of overtaking Nova at the end of this Super Weekend number 2. So this is really exciting stuff to see.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Quer ver aí, zero contestação, né? Meio que se respeitam bastante. No passado a Lupus expulsou a BTR de nova bootcamp. É bem isso, cara. Eu acho que ninguém vai tremer, não. Olha só, a stack aí splitadinha esquerda.
But we could be in for a surprise.
I do notice there's a change in drop spot area for Stalwart, based off the fact that the plane path doesn't complement their normal drop spot in Novo,
aí não é onde
and also the Xavier are not in this Super Weekend, so
ia falar se aí não era onde o Carrilho cai, mas não é não. Nossa, olha de onde o cara pegou, mano. Caralho. Tá com mira aí, tiozão? Tá sem mira. Tá, porra.
Satar is looking to confirm the kill, and there we have it.
É, Luxi. Melhor vazar mesmo. BTR já começou perdendo Nossa, o cara vai ficar durinho ali. Nova nem caía bootcamp. Era BTR que caía lá? 2/7 mais survival. Orgulhoso da Riot de sair da comunidade e já estar no Mundial. Mas a 7 fez isso no passado. A 7 foi criada no passado e foi pro Mundial. 7 em 2 anos de criação foi no Mundial seguido. A Riot em um ano de criação Mundial.
As far as I know, Action got here first. H-Star rotated to here with the vehicle. We'll have spotted the fact that a couple of doors are open and we'll hear the shots of or the vehicle.
Jogou muito, seu buceta. Sorte que o cara tirou vida pra caralho. Nossa. Sorte que o cara tirou life pra caralho, mano. Senão, já era.
the cavalry to arrive, and that was
Fala, Gamorinha, como que tamo? Bom dia. Era BTR, né, Tons? Bigatron.
Or did it go up against the entirety of Starwood Esports, who, after that record-breaking second day in the league stage, it's been a bit of a tepid start thus far this Super Weekend.
Yeah, they've had 2 points in game 1, 1 point in game 2.
Bom dia, Fer. Está em qual queda? Na terceira já, Ivanzão. Caralho, que sprays. Olha, hein, grudante. Os malucos são muito bons no spray de longe. Spray de red dot, spray de tira curta. Precisão dos caras dessa região, cara, é muito boa. Ó, Forever empatou, hein? Empatou com a Infinity, parceiro. A Guides está 5 pontos. Em Secret é 15. MSC é 19.
Of course, in their usual drop spot,
Quarry
areas, they are outside the circle, reject. I think they've had some
se espotou aí, né, ô vacilão, Máfia Ninja. O cara até voltou.
They were a lot more aggressive, they were a lot more controlling in these games. They opened up that first game with a really strong
Cadê Nova? Nova nem passou. Ó, 62. Caralho, esse Action aí tá bem na frente, mano. Caralho. E o Screen em segundo com 46. Ali tá tudo meio embolado, mas olha, esse Action tá bem na frente, mano. Paca porra. As skins que os árabes faziam, a nova cai lá em Bootcamp também. Ah, sabia não. E aí, Sebas? Como tá, manito?
Not so godly during the Super Weekend, at least the first one. Thus far, though, you know, it hasn't been terrible. It's been much better than what we saw on the final day of this first Super Weekend, where they had 1 point in 5 games, which is atrocious for a team of their caliber.
It is, for sure, and it's something they'll want to forget about very quickly, and that's where I liked that blank.
Será que eles gostam desses cabelinhos de capacete, velho? O cara parece o Alanzinho, só que chinês e gordinho.
In a row, that they are not going to make it to the finals. I understand where Blank is coming from, but for the time being, I kind of want to disagree with how.
Tudo bien, manito?
Outside of the 11 points they got in the second game today, they were coming into that game with an average of 3 points per game. You know, so it doesn't matter how many Super Weekends you qualify. If you're not getting the points required within that Super Weekend, you're putting yourself in a bad situation. Now, showing a massive element of being able to overtake Enigma, should they qualify for the third Super Weekend? I would argue no. But if they do that, and Enigma don't qualify for the third Super Weekend, then hey, the chance is there. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out in the future. I know that's like a week away, but it's just something to think about because you brought.
A gente olha. Quando você assiste um campeonato assim, não dá vontade de jogar depois? Vontade de jogar um casualzinho.
No pun intended, of course.
Of course not. Don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Well, we do, of course, speaking of Enigma Galaxy, yeah, definitely would be looking to see how they're going to fare here.
Oh, pica. Ei, pica.
A couple of knocks, a couple of bullets being
vai, mais uma. Mais uma. Nossa, na última balinha. Pra finalizar. Não finalizou. Mais um. Ah, caralho, velho. Ah, não. Que dó. Vai dar pra levantar tudo. Dá, né?
They should be pushing. They know exactly.
Nossa, os caras estão fazendo tudo errado. Nossa, esse vai de lobby já. Só tem mais um. É, já era. Agora só tocando a música do Titanic na flautinha. Na hora correu, hein? Jogou muita bola. Essa pegou. Tchau, tchau.
cooked it a little too much. But Duello, I just fear his days are numbered unless his UMP could do a lot of damage. He's trying desperately. It's a bit of a
puxou a mini, que é isso? Salve, Agson!
Punishing Reject for the couple of mistakes they made.
Despite doing well in league play, I would argue that's like the best
aposentado e procurou time já,
so far. I know it's an isolated fight.
Hoje vai ter 3 wins da 7, confia, cara. Aí Jorge acordou a confiança, hein? É não, negão? Negão, esse safado. Toma! Então toma. Nossa, que putaria, cara. Um tal de... A galera aproveita os third party nessa região, velho. Eles escutam e... Aqui vai. Sabe o que eu reparei de um pouco diferente? Não é um pouco diferente. Isso acontece muito na nossa também. Mas eles fazem mais aqui os times andam mais junto. Ó, você vê, ó a Fates fazendo rotação. Tá um colado no outro. 3-7, um da Rise, um da BD. Caralho, só vai da BR, então. BDR tá com o time full, teve alguma mudança na line? Acho que tá com o time full, mano. Mas já, não, na verdade perdeu um agora. O Pubg morreu, já foi o primeiro a morrer.
Compared to game 1 where you pointed out a little bit of a similar circle path for the first 2 phases, talking about I think of being a lot closer together inside this lumberyard hillside. FaZe Clan opting to rotate more on the eastern side of prison rather than the western side of prison, because it's presumably for them a little bit of a less congested entry point, and they've gotten ahead of Rico Infinity. So lovely team rotation for FaZe Clan. BTR gonna have to try and deal with Genesis Dogma, but Genesis Dogma do have to also
não vai nem se mexer ali, ó. Tá só no fone. Tá escutando no fone. E ele vai fazer maldade com esse Leão 9 aí, hein? Fica vendo, fica vendo. Salve, Anthony! Olha lá, já viu, já pegou a visualização, já trocou a mira. Tô esperando. Vai correr a maldade, fica vendo. Continua o time antigo? Eu nem lembro quem é o time antigo. Teve alguma mudança? Não sei. A galera do chat vai saber dizer aí. Fala aí pra ele, negão. Teve alguém que mudou? Show do boy não tava jogando, né?
Towards the beleaguered South Koreans who thus far, and I gotta say this, I don't want to sound rude, but I gotta be brutally honest, haven't really impressed me so much so far.
The biggest reason why I agree with you is just their passiveness and their passive
play. Não, meu mano, se aproxima, nem seja rastejando.
They did well in League Week 2 from a placement standpoint, where they got some strong finishes, I believe a couple of thirds or a third and fourth or a couple of top 5s at least, but their lack of kills was very noticeable, and if they don't start to show up that aggression more heavily, they're going to get drowned in this Super Weekend number 2. Teams also might get drowned as
eu me lembro daquele Microboy saiu.
To the east, a good 10-15% of it being water.
Os caras são tudo Microboy, Old Boy, Cool Boy, Cool Boy, Paraboy,
we could see some teams going for a very wide rotation through Milta Power on towards that coastal line position.
Microboy saiu e o Hard Boy entrou na BTR. São quantas Super Weekends? 3 Super Weekends. Daí depois vem a final. São 3 dias. Classificar 2 dias classificatória é uma Super Weekend. E assim vai durante 3 semanas. A gente já tá na segunda semana. Ou seja, só vai ter esse final de semana e mais semana que vem. Daí depois 22, 23, 24 os grandes finais regionais. Tanto do lado leste quanto do lado oeste. 3 dias de finais. Terminou, nós vamos saber quem são os 9 dessa região que vão passar.
wait about 10 to 15
E quem são os
seconds
6
and have
da
a
outra
little
região
bit
que vão
of
passar?
patience, because
Da
sometimes
nossa, no caso.
teams are too desperate to move in. We saw Down One Gaming
Terminasse assim,
suffer
ó,
that
vamos
in the
supor, hoje
second game of the day.
passaria
Miramar, where they just went for a deep rotation without any real knowledge,
Infinity,
and they got
passaria...
absolutely
A gente
blown
já
to
vê a tabela ali.
smithereens. It nearly happened again, only luckily for them,
Fica boy.
were rotating close by, and Team
E
Secret
Cobroy
were
foi
able to
pra
pick up the kill in
Evos.
that regard,
Pra
so Down One
Evo?
Gaming avoided the action.
Right now, there is no avoiding the action of FaZe. But
Então vai.
oh,
Então toma.
6 to 8. They're gonna be third
E
party
não.
their way into this
O
particular
Nan não
skirmish.
acertou
in the
nenhuma, não.
Galaxy.
Que isso?
Going up against FaZe Clan. Both the teams have
Será que a
players
Safe vai
alive.
fechar de
Galaxy
volta
will
pra
see
essa
the
região,
top.
mano?
They have most number of eliminations thus far
De
in this
novo?
particular game, wiping out Team Reject earlier on. What are they gonna do now? Are they
Fair
gonna go
boy?
into this fight?
Ah,
Because
não,
FaZe
aí
pretty
não,
well
pô.
entrenched, and I don't think that's a fight Nigma would be necessarily looking to take.
They also don't need to take
Ai,
it. The reason why Roof was a little bit more
quase
heavy
vomitei.
is so they could get the revive
Ai.
into their knock player and then disengage away. Some very clever play from Liga, realizing when it's time to engage, when it's time to disengage. Both teams are in good position, but I would argue, based on where this phase 4 might go, Nigma are in a little bit of a slightly better position. Plus, when you look at the angles,
Ô, Mela! Ô, Mela aí, ó.
both
Famoso
teams
Mela.
have from the likes of Genesis Dogma and 628. FaZe are in a little bit more of a pressure point in that regard, so
Os caras não usam muito sniper nessa região, né?
that's why I definitely
Você acha que
respect
podemos
the
ter
fact
os
that
3
they
BR
can
entre os 6 que
disengage.
avançam pra grande final?
Team Secret
Cara,
still have a spread on
poder
the
pode.
northern edge of the
Eu
circle,
acho
to the eastern
muito
side of
difícil
prison
que isso
and across
aconteça.
the road
Acho
side
bem
here,
improvável.
north
Olha lá,
of the
ó.
Pubg inside, and that's gonna
Fechou
be a
naquela
massive
parte do
shift
litoral.
away, and that's why I thought a couple of teams like Four
O
Rivals
Rival tá bem na safe, hein? Se eles pegam
did,
aquelas pedras
set
ali,
themselves up towards the
na parte que
coastline.
não dá visão, GG pra
Yeah,
eles.
it is seemingly looking like a coastline finish here, right? Especially if
JB vai bater nas
are
casinhas.
already there, so they can hold on to this position unless
Não, a CS
of course,
bateu.
they get swarmed
CJB pegou
by the
o morro.
teams having the same
Boa
idea. Tangible,
estratégia
like you said,
da TJB
great
também.
position. They have a high ground.
Por os
within the
pneus,
edge
pega
of
kill.
of those cliffs as well. It's a great position.
Só faltou
to be
ser Mela
at,
Bosch.
except you are exposed on the far side, right, which can be messy. Speaking of
Mela
messy,
Bosch tinha que fazer dupla com o
DRS,
Pica.
okay, they're making quick
Mela.
work of Damn One Game. I thought there was a
Mela aqui.
knock against the DRS as well, but AJ will stay alive, and Sung and Uni.
Seria nova no Mundial,
You
só pra
did
ter.
say
Mas a nova
they're
vai pro
passive,
Mundial.
Imperium, but I guess they can be
Nova vai.
forgiven for being a little passive, especially looking at where they are positioned at the moment.
Yes, I think with this kind of circle as well, I think it is rewarded.
Primeiro, porque a nova praticamente já tá na final. E aqui passam 9, é muito fácil. Na nossa já tá mais difícil pro Carrilho. Vai ser tão fácil. Passam 6. Mano, a gente sabe o potencial da 7, né? Mas vai ser fácil não. Já pensou o Rego volta com o Nick Rego Boy? Rego tava jogando WM esses dias. Tem o Rego, o Bambu, Bela, Pica. É, toda essa galera aí. Essa galera, bicho. Vai, acertou nenhuma. Toma então. Tem um coletinho aí.
100%. You can see
Oh,
you can
toma.
pretty much just relax listening to the
Mas é o único que eu vi jogando sniper até agora.
bullet just whizzing
Ali
past
joga
them.
de DMR.
Although, to be honest, I've had bullets whizzing
Tá
past
torcendo pra quem? Cara, pra
them.
ninguém.
Comfortable is gonna be him as John Fury. Popping Ponzai.
Honestamente,
Just
não
a little bit
peguei
typical from Team Secret. They just try to
preço
rattle
por
off
nenhum
shots.
time aí.
And here comes Satar from Genesis Dogma. Finds one member now, looking for the second. He knows his area spots.
Nossa, tá um fiapo de vida. Vai pra cima, filho. Vai pra cima que você pega. Pegou, boa. Nossa, a Giz vai ficar grandona na safe, hein?
Yep. Would you like a nickel for your troubles, Team Secret? Why, yes, I would. Genesis Dogma deliver that blow, puts pressure on towards Team Secret. Just Fredo and iShots left alive. Great proactivity from Genesis Dogma. We saw this in the Miramar game. Blank and John alluded to when the circle shifted massively away and they said, okay, this is the true test of Genesis Dogma. They swept through really well in that game and they're doing the exact same here on towards
jogando FPP
covering the
pra ver
angles,
se é a mesma
moving
coisa,
in
se
as a
jogam
team.
bem assim.
Great teamwork and communication.
Pegou, mais um, só mais um. É, meu... Nossa, quase que se mata, trouxa. Cara, a Guides vai ficar grandona na safe, vai pegar a liderança agora da Infinity, hein?
Meanwhile, the two Chinese teams going up against each other, Tang Jiabao and 628, but 628 have other troubles because El Chapo from Cryptics are pushing up.
Quais os times da China?
Oxe,
meu parceiro, tu tem o nick do Paraboy e não sabe que ela não passou pra segunda Super Weekend.
Well, I think they're better off dealing with what's behind them before they consider any kind of push into the circle. So I do appreciate that they're committing to this fight against 628.
Não sei quais são os times da China.
The circle shifting away means they're less likely to get targeted from behind. So committing
não vi
to
onde
this
fechou
fight
essa
is
safe.
even more viable. But that's a couple of lovely sprays from Sunan.
Deixa eu ver uma coisa. Eu acho que a Guides continua grandona na safe ali. Tem o high ground pra jogar. Ei, meu Deus, tomou de lado. Aí deu mole, Chapo.
And for Cryptics, they were sticking around for so very long, and it is going to be 4 rivals who are going to punish them for it. BTR going for a quick rotation as well, while bullets are being exchanged with Infinity and Rico Infinity, and BTR have managed to somehow, comparatively unscathed, kind of find themselves in a pretty good spot, except Cryptics are still behind them.
And that's why I say
eu não sou vagabundo, amigo. Não tô acompanhando os camps. Tô trabalhando. Cara, todo mundo trabalha, seu animal. É porque você acompanha o campeonato que você vai ser vagabundo.
They need to get the reses
very
quickly. 2 members down as the Cryptics. They maybe took a little too long, right? And they wanted to ensure they took down 628, but now they're walking into Rico Infinity. Oh, SK-Ton, they're not even looking his direction, but he somehow whiffs his shots, and that should be a knock and a finish going the way of for BTR actually from the sidelines. You can't forget they had managed to
sem tempo pra acompanhar, show.
And they have third party them, and now down to the final 9 teams in the circle.
FaZe Clan.
SZ até JB nova que não tá nessa Super Weekend.
Strong for the side who dominated the first day of League Week 2 and overall looked very strong in the Super Weekend. Down 1 Gaming being eliminated. 3 players for FaZe Clan as well. Beer 11 playing in this game with Corpai, Tony and MR5. I asked actually Beer 11 who was IGL.
Vagabundo tem casa de boa assistindo isso trabalhar. No caso meu é trabalhar, eu tô ganhando dinheiro pra isso. Tem gente que trabalha outros horários, no caso. Garanto que eu ganho mais do que você trabalhando no mercado, seu animal. Pra assistir, aliás, né? Bacana. Engraçado que tu não é homem nem de vir com a tua conta original. Você vem com o nome Paraboy Balabala, né, trabalhador? Deve ser um puta cara foda na vida. Na quarta já tava desacreditando a Rise que ele estivesse aqui pra ter visto. Na quarta já tava desacreditando.
It's a 1v1 right now all of a sudden. 1v1 between FaZe and Infinity and Mela. He's got a nade.
Calma, Paraboy. A bosta já sei. Minuto por dia devia trabalhar nesse PUBG. Quem passou, quem não passou.
Oh, they're down, but they're not out. 4 rivals. They're gonna get a knock on the Ponze. At first aid was pulled off by.
Cara, cadê o time que eu falei que tava grandão?
Allows him to put a little bit of pressure, but I think he's wary of a potential third party from Stalwart from behind. The circle shifted down south. Nigma third party, by the way, to take down FaZe.
Ele não viu.
Pop stands up. He gets taken out. Lovely nade from Stone.
Pop goes to Weasel, and now Infinity. They managed to get the res onto Uzi Mela, but now he's going up against Enigma Galaxy. A team 8 kills. 8 kills in Premium. We had questions about this.
Caralho, e pegou? Tá porra, mas deu longe, mano.
can still get the res for his teammates, but for the time being, they are pinned down. And Stalwart Esports, despite, I was looking at a kill feed, it looked like they were just dropping like flies, but they still have 2 in play. And when you have this man on your screen right now, Action, still in contention, you can never, ever count out the Mongolians.
Né, tá tranquilo, Albert. É que segue. Ah, mas a Infinity pegou top 4, mano. 6 eliminações. Não, Infinity acho que se mantém na ponta da tabela. Infinity continua em primeiro.
Enigma Galaxy, and of course the one surviving member of Stalwart Esports. I can't even see him anywhere nearby.
Is this going to be it? Is this going to be 4 rivals chicken dinner? Their first chicken dinner is Super Weekend.
Sure about it?
I don't want to Maxman curse it, but I can't help but feel it's incoming.
It could. The one thing going to wave Enigma Galaxy.
DMR no meta, né? Sim, DMR tá cantante, velho. Não sei se os caras já jogavam pra caralho de DMR lá na China ou não.
That's a great spray from Roth. While they were a little bit distracted by Lord, just driving his car straight out in no man's land. That's going to allow Roth to get the 1 knock. Now repositioning himself, he's got a great angle, he's got a little rock to work with as well. He could just ruin their day.
Like he says,
you screwed them, Imperium.
I think I might have cursed him. I might have spoken too soon. However, Action is still alive, and he could get a couple of shots into the 2 players of Enigma Galaxy. There's circle shifts down south, and if it couldn't have gone worse for 4 rivals, it has based on this circle shift to have to move even further. A Stalwart are taken down.
Well, Stalwart finally will be taken out, but yeah, Enigma Galaxy in a great position. Penumbra.
Fica hoje tá off. Fica tá jogando nada, velho. Fica tá mole. Fica tá dando mole. GG pra NGX, eu acho. Eu quero que a 4Rival faça a play. China curta em PMR desde antes do meta. Então, era essa a dúvida que eu tava. Eles já jogavam bastante DMR. Ô, cara, dá pra esses caras fazer a play, hein? Dá pra esses caras fazer a play, meu mano! Ah, não. Ah, não. Nossa, torcendo pros caras fazerem a play. Escutei o narrador falando se esconder. Mas em inglês ele falou? O que você acha? O 7 vai aguentar a pressão? Acho que aguenta, cara. O 7 melhorou muito no começo da competição. Já adaptou. O 7 tem uma facilidade de adaptação. Tá bom. A Ryze também tá mais confortável jogando, acho. BD já pegou muita coisa também, estudou muita coisa. Cara, tem grande chance da boa de passar pra finalzona. Event Imperium. Especial Blend. Ó, o Rod tá acordado, velho. Cara, vem com nós, né?
Early on in the game, it just set themselves up so nicely, and this is the Enigma that we knew could come into PMGC that we haven't really seen up until now, and off the back of a solid result in Miramar, this is a big turnaround potential.
Listen, like, I have to disagree with you there, because we have seen them perform well in the league stage. Right? They've shown what they can do. It's just that in the Super Weekend they seem to.
True.
Maybe it was nerves, right? Maybe they choked a little bit. It's fine. But right now, the chokers no more. This has been an incredible game from them, and even the way they were winning the fights or winning those duels, it was just so clean, Imperium, that they were able to. Exactly. It never looked like, in all the team fights they took, it never looked like, even the 50-50 ones, it never felt like they were in a position where they could lose a couple of members. No, they were winning these fights in a very convincing fashion against some very.
Eu preciso aí secão. Vamos ver tua coisa aí secão.
But it is what it is. They'll have to go once again, just like we're gonna go back once again to Jason and the crew.
Ixi.
Well, Enigma Galaxy sporting their OnePluses, which is the actual sponsor here at PMGC. If you didn't know about it, with its flagship performance and an immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers, the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb the leaderboards, and it seems to be your best shot to win a chicken dinner. Maybe 4 rivals needs to pick up some of these bad boys.
Screen highlight.
In second place, they can't seem to just get that victory under their belt here, Max.
Stop it, Jason. You're doing this to me all the time. But yes, okay, they're not going to get that chicken dinner just yet. But if we have
3x, câmera lenta, 1, 2, 3, bota na cabeça. Oh, que isso, bela bala.
We said it, we weren't sure if they could potentially hold on to that 16th
Tizinha cantante também.
I would say that, I mean, not even what I would say, what was clearly.
Ele tem os tiros no pé, mas tá valendo, importante foi nocautear.
It's a good call out there, the perfect 2-2 split, Tarzan, for a big portion of that game to just make sure they stopped all of the teams trying to make into the circle. This is the type of playstyle we expect from Enigma Galaxy on a more consistent basis.
Now, if you look at those results through the past competitive, this is the team that is known for.
Ei, cara, boa! Isso, jogou muito deitadinho ali, bacana. Toma mais uma então.
And they took it clean. I think that was the start that they needed, and that was huge for them right now for this week so far. Not looking shabby at all.
But yeah, considering Enigma Galaxy were the bottom of the table, for 47 points, they've almost just doubled up in the first 3 matches of the first day.
Ah,
so
lá,
any points
pegou.
that Bigatron, FaZe Clan, Damwon were able to accumulate so far, well, it's not going to be working towards
Sprayzinha lá, Mufasa. Deitou.
qualify here for the second super weekend. But as we can see here, TJB and also 628, 8 and 5 points respectively for these two Chinese teams.
Uma sacanagem, deitou, pegou, bacana.
I'm probably going to have to DM Kalaris and ask him, do you think Tongjabao is a 16th place team? And I probably
Só no coquinho. Toma então.
It's been a rough day for Tongjabao because it's still going back to that central playstyle very early on. They're going for the wide splits, but they're very good defensive team when they have to get themselves in a more.
Que é isso, puxadinha de mira ali, ó.
A little bit, I would say, Tarzan. So we know exactly what they need to improve upon, but unfortunately, I've not seen any major changes on the side of Tongjabao that makes me think that they're going to play that specific way anytime soon, unfortunately.
It's about execution. You have a good idea. You have 3 good ideas. Pick one. Don't pick all 3. They've been a little bit too greedy, to say the least, around those huge splits. But it's not something that's too hard to fix, I feel like. They just need to simple it down. You know, that we don't have to do everything. And I think that could be just that one thing that can fix it all.
Yeah, you said, I mean, don't pick 3 strategies, pick one. Well, look, if you guys at home, you don't have to pick just one. There's 3 ways you can win rewards here while watching PMGC. First is the viewer vote. You can do your fan favorite vote for your teams and players within the esports center. But also, if you're watching within the esports center, you're earning points towards the treasure box, which you can use to unlock some permanent items. You can either watch within the esports center or over on YouTube as well. And don't forget, we still have the PMGC community tournament happening with Game TV. It's open to everyone.
Então toma por debaixo. Vai.
We would destroy all of you at home, especially with Max leading the charge. But you guys go register and play, and you can get some PMGC tokens and play cards as well. So make sure you guys are checking that out.
Bacana, Secão. Bacana, bacana, bacana. Cadê o... Cadê o coisa, velho? Quem mais falou que tinha uma ali mesmo? É o vilão? Como que acha o teu vilão? Tava tocando piano. Fala, gigante, bom dia. Qual é, FP? Você sabe quem eu sou? Eu nem tava falando de você, mano. Qual é André Araújo? Qual André Araújo que é você? Muito menos sem inveja de você. Cara, não sei. Sei que você chegou aí e falou: ah, o que deu da nova aí? Eu ainda brinquei com você, eu falei, caralho, tu tem o nome do Paraboy e não sabe que a nova não passou pra segunda Super Week. Veio falar que os caras aqui é vagabundo. Quem acompanha o campeonato é tudo vagabundo, que você tá trabalhando, você não tem tempo. Então beleza, meu irmão. Ninguém foi grosso contigo aqui não, pra tu já vir. Independente se tá falando de mim ou não, cara, o que tu falou me atingiu, tá ligado? Eu tô desde as 8 aqui, vindo trazer o bagulho pra vocês, pra uma pessoa vir aí me falar isso, meu irmão. Ah, pelo amor de Deus. E aí, Rod, vai entrar aí ou não vai? Erangel, meu, qual que é o teu, rato? É o meu último, mano, fiz uma edição top, fiz uma edição... Ah, como que eu acho o teu? Vilã PUBG Mobile. Já me passa o teu lá também, rato. Vilã PUBG Mobile. Bom dia, tem um wipe na B4 depois, dá uma reagida se possível, tá no meu Insta. Puta, do Insta eu não tô conseguindo abrir aqui, velho. Mas posso tentar daí, vamos ver. Qual que é o vilão PUBG Mobile? Onde que eu acho? Eu sou da live do Zé, velho. Ah, tô ligado, André. Ah, agora eu sei quem é você, pô. Mas olha o que tu fala, mano. Não tinha sido grosso com você em nenhum momento, velho. Daí tu não ofende só eu, tu ofende todo mundo aí. Cadê, vilã? Tá tranquilo, André. Também peço desculpa aí pelo... 7% carrega essa porra, Rod. Nunca carrega esse celular, fela da mãe. Viu o meu no YouTube? Calma aí que tem uma lista. Deixa eu ver o do vilã aí. Bota no carregador e entra na cal aí, Rod.
Sloppy towards the end, I would say. I don't know if that's the perfect word to potentially use to describe how that went down for them, but they were very aggressive towards the late game part in terms of making sure that Stolen could not make into the circle. They took an amazing fight towards Infinity, but they knew the advantage. You just want to make sure you push them into the blue. They have no escape, so you're just going to pick up an easy bunch of frags onto the side, which is good to see from them. That GG split, I would say, Tarzan, was just the best thing ever because 4 rivals in their position, the blue right behind them, they were even having pot shots taken their way by Stalwart, I believe it was, from the back. So they were just completely pinched, and Nigma Galaxy really had the advantage. This is what I love to see from them. When they are in control, they just use it to the full potential to try and secure those wins.
Não, não é esse aqui não. Pô, velho, vocês fazem umas paradas difíceis de achar, mano. Não tá achando, ó, vilã.
The way that the entry zones take fights. The throwables are there for this team, of course, you can see from this graphic. And Raouf asked the IGL did make that 2-2 split very decently as well.
Como assim só tem minutos pra falar? Você não vai ficar aqui?
Ah, tem 6% agora. Aí eu fico 6% e aí depois eu fico até acabar.
Deixa carregando aí, cara.
É que não carrega com o Discord, velho. E eu tô lagarteando no sol.
Caralho, tá tomando um sol, vai até ficar...
Bronzeado. Ah, capaz de ficar só vermelho.
Ô, Rato, também não acho o teu aí. Rato PUBG. Cara, a galera faz uns canais, vocês não colocam nas notificações, cara. É difícil achar, velho. Ó, cadê Rato? PUBG. Mano, vou ensinar vocês. Vou ensinar uma vez vocês. Uma vez, tá? Vamos lá. Vamos lá. Configurações, tá? Você vai... Não, cadê o estúdio? Cadê o estúdio? Os vídeos. Você vai no estúdio lá, ó. Vai no estúdio. Vai em configurações, tá? Configurações. Você vai em...
Oh man, I'm still a little bit triggered because I still want to see my 4 rivals win. It's still in my mind here, Jason. It's gonna happen eventually. Do you think
vai aqui nas tags.
Usually when I would talk about team, they would go out in 15th,
onde que é?
Position.
Aqui, ó, palavras-chave. Vai nas palavras-chave e coloca lá, Ferzote, PV.
It's almost like because you made a point and then the opposite happened. The opposite of not winning, not getting second would be like winning, like as an improvement. But you know what, like they are as well. After all, they are not at the bottom, and there is a very solid reason. And we like those reasons because they just know how to play pockets, right? Sometimes it's at the
cash.
But it works for the points. We're talking about security. The margin of error is actually quite huge. Talking about how we allow into the finals as well as the grand finals when we merge with the West. So I think it's about whether teams can experiment and to what degree can they afford experimenting but not feeling like.
Vamos ver aqui mais.
Well, while we do have a bit of time, I think we have about like 6 minutes until we do head into the match. I was actually just going to call this perfectly. So you can look at the overall Super Weekend rankings just from this Super Weekend. It's not the total from both 2 weeks. So don't rely on the placings too much. That's not even close to where they actually are. But let's talk about a couple of teams here. I mean, Genesis Dogma obviously had a fantastic victory in the first match of the day. There's 44 points, but I mean, 4 rivals again. Like we can't
Tá ligado que lá naquele vídeo lá, o cara da Tickets falou que eles queriam ganhar 3 partidas por dia, né? A pessoa, se eles colocam no último Super Week que consegue meter umas 3 wins no dia, cada dia, será que classifica? Acho que não, né? 30 partidas a menos, né?
Na última Super Weekend?
É.
Ah, daí consegue, né?
Ah, 9 vitórias, acho que dá. Se fosse 3 vitórias.
Mas não faz 3 wins por dia nunca na vida.
Não.
Falar é fácil, falar até papagaio fala. Bora, vou assistir tua coisa aí, vilã. Depois eu vejo a do rato. Manda o coisa aí, igual o rato mandou. Vai o rato, depois vai o gigante. Vamos lá. Deixa eu ver esse highlight. Vou tirar aqui pra caso tenha...
Infinity struggling a little bit more if
nossa, mas tá o que brilha é esse.
goes up throughout the entirety of this second Super Weekend.
É, boa 3x, velho.
Which would be insane to think about, but for this PMGC League stage,
Bacana,
might actually see
bacana.
rivals be in first place without a single chicken dinner because of that extreme consistency. And if that happens, that would be one of the most insane things I've seen in a PMGC so far, because you just don't see that happen.
Toma.
At this stage, a team without
Bora pelo meu amor.
I want to talk about DRS.
É, 3x tá fiadinho, hein? Vilã. Você é da Nightmare? Isso? Nightmare.
Super, o link dele que eu acho que...
É Night vilã. Night
Ô,
gostosa, Night F, Night Luquinha.
Não, acho que não é a Nightmare. É NG não sei o que, né?
Ah, Night, tá como Night o tag deles.
NGT, acho que é a Nightmare. NG,
tá, não sei.
Caralho, velho. Como é que até que eles usam? É NGT, sim. Nightmare.
Pegou F, tua 3x tá pertinha, mano.
Three top 6 finishes in a row, but to only show 9 eliminations from that, it's a little.
Coloca lá no geral Discord, Rato. Pode ser. Manda lá no geral Discord que nós já vemos o teu próximo.
Yeah, it's been a playstyle that helped them to qualify in the Super Weekend in the first place, so I can't go heavily against it. But when you look back at
esse playzinho tá bacana,
when we're playing in a PMPL, they're such an aggressive team, they're a controlling team, they like to get to that late game and get all those extra frags and those extra placement points on board.
Vamos ver.
I think they come to a tough realization that this is just a way harder lobby to make a long an impression into, so they're just taking a little bit of a slow approach. Unfortunately, they're able to miss out on the first Super Weekend, which
vai passar de carro, vai.
I think that when they start getting a little bit more confident, they're going to start hitting their stride. I think that's when they're going to maybe try and get those eliminations a little bit more. But I think they're still trying to learn. And it's just a
Quem é que tem contrato até ano que vem? É só os players da INSTA? Da 7
By
também,
the
né?
time they get to the league finals, that's the most important.
Ah, não sei o que dizer. Tem uma galera que tem contrato já renovado, né?
Aí quanto o contrato da INSTA? Até quando? Até julho? Do ano que vem?
Ah, daí não me faça essa pergunta que eu não sei. Quando foi renovado, não sei qual que é.
Against another team that really needs the momentum. Star Wars Esports, we've seen that hot drop is recurring. We like it. I think it will happen again. The Star Wars just got a little bit of increase in terms of how they perform.
Boa 3x, hein, mano. Saca 3x calibradinha.
Whoever it wins that fight in bootcamp, I think they will propel up, and that will be something that will be extremely, extremely exciting.
So how confident are you in saying that, Tarzan? Are you going to predict the team who's going to win this match then?
I'll pick FaZe. I'll just pick FaZe. I don't know why, I just feel like it. I feel it, and I'm going to stick with it.
Okay, Max, real fast.
I'm going to go with, I want to see 6 to 8 go win.
Bora.
They tend to do well, so let's go.
Alright, let's head over to our commentators to take us into the match once again. It's Bleh and Imperium.
Bacana, vilã. Bacana, 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 bacana. Gostei do highlight, velho. Tá jogando bem. Deixa eu ver quanto tempo aqui. Ih, já foi, já tá na tela. Próximo é o teu, Rato. Deixa comigo. Link do Wipe First, consegui ver. Onde você mandou o link do Wipe X?
Ih, tô com 1%.
Bota lá pra carregar, depois você volta aí.
Não, deixa eu falar uma coisa. Ô, véi, tu tem acesso a todo mundo que é teu inscrito, não é inscrito, apoiador?
Sim, sim.
São quantos hoje?
Não sei.
Mas mais de 30?
Não.
Pode crer. Porque dá pra fazer uns conteúdos muito loucos pra quem é apoiador, tá ligado? Depois te dou... Ih, acabou a bateria.
Ih, acabou a bateria. Valeu, André. Obrigado por ter se tornado apoiador, aliás. Muito obrigado, mano. Tamo junto. Vou te dar desban lá da conta lá, cara. Mas não chama mais ninguém de vagabundo aí, não, cara. Nossa, ele pegou lá de fora. Vai fazer a play? Nah, que dó, velho. O cara ia fazer a play. Que dó, velho. Tava bugada a qualidade? Não sei, que era lá a qualidade do highlight, mano. Ele botou meio doido, sei lá. E aí, Darkzinho? Bom dia, mano. F-Road? Pior que ele anuncia, né? Ih, vai acabar. Deixa eu ver pra te dar... Agora você vai usar essa conta ou vai usar outra, André?
Oh no!
Running one out. I'm not sure why he went for that play. Got a little too over eager, trying to confirm the kill despite the knock that took place, and now there is a real chance of
Grande Road, o campeão voltou. Foi a zica de 2021, né? Grande Road. Nossa, pegou. Carai! Ó, oh, esse cara também atira no loot aí. É isso.
Like it was getting a little scary for Cryptics with Lazy Boys. Like, yeah, no, just slams the door.
Quando acabar highlight novo, normal. Ah, tem que mandar, né, highlight. Mandar rato light. Aí, highlight é tipo um currículo. Foi mal mais uma vez, Ter. Que é normal, já assim, tá de boas. Boa, André. Tá tranquilo, eu te entendi, mano. Entendi o que você quis falar. Tranquilo. Vai usar essa conta ou vai a outra? Daí eu já mexo lá na outra e já tiro agora. Quer ver qual conta você quer usar? Cara, eu acho que foi o brasileiro que começou com esse bagulho de tiro no loot mesmo, hein? É, o rato da Souls da Europa. Vai voar esse ano.
Gets a couple of shots off. Rico Finney going for a very early rotation across the bridge.
Tô feliz até agora. Ah, então vai pro corte, certeza. Ah, fechou pra esse lado que a galera tá batendo aí? E fechou pra esse lado, boa posição da R8T. Usar a outra e ficar com anúncio. Usar a outra. E aqui fica com anúncio. A outra é prêmio. Vou pegar lá então, pera aí. Salve, Isaías! Tem um saindo highlight de muita gente. Fechou, rato.
Yeah, they are tunnel vision on Rico Infinity, but 6-8, they're going to take advantage of that and try and just kind of pincer Rico Infinity between themselves and Starwood Esports.
I'm all in favor of an early rotation, but one, you got to know where you want to go, and two, you got to be aware that not only teams who already land in the area you're going to, but two, other teams that are most likely going to go for a bit of an earlier rotation. And Stalwart have pulled this off in the past, by the way. They pulled off that rotation from boot camp across the water onto that northwest island, and they were always going to pull it off quicker than Rico Infinity. So as much as I appreciate that from Rico, again, just a lack of information from that one. And FaZe Tony K will get shot onto peak, and that's going to find him knocked to his knees.
Tony K is aware. He is aware where the other teammates are for Starwood Esports. Is going to be pushing on in to try and confirm the kill. At 6-8, they are not gonna allow Rico Infinity to escape unscathed. Cristigo, though, great work. Looking to get the finish. I like
Caralho.
the attempt.
Até chegou como?
He finds the final member, SK-Ton, trying to just waltz through the door and get a trade when you're not from all the way above, able to take him down. And yeah, with that, we say goodbye to Rico Infinity and Tang Jiabao very early as FaZe, they continue to harass other members. 4 rivals across this nice little channel of water. A few bullets getting put into their bodies, but they're going to be fine for now. They're going to take cover. They're going to patch themselves up.
So let's reevaluate where BTR and FaZe stand in terms of the overall standings in relation to Nova. Like I said, Nova having 8 points per game from their first Super Weekend. BTR currently have 30 points in their first 3 games, an average of 10 points per game, and FaZe at 25, which is an average of 8.3. So right now, currently, both teams are on target to get ahead of Nova after his first Super Weekend. So I do like that from those two teams.
Oh, absolutely. Like, Nova would be the team that everyone who sat out the first Super Weekend will be targeting. And rightfully so. And I think it's a very good sign as well for FaZe and for BTR that they got off on the right foot here, Imperium. Because if they had a slow day one, then the pressure would start mounting, right? They're like, oh, holy Christ, we finally qualified, and here we are already struggling again. So it's really good sign for the Southeast Asian teams. And speaking of BTR, if there's one team that they would be happy to go up against, it would have to be Damwon Gaming. I mean, I hate to say it, but
no,
you're
right. And it's not like Damwon don't try to fight, but it's like they're
Se der tempo eu vejo
just they're in the wrong mindset for the time being, and especially in Sanhok where you really need to take the bull by the horn.
2 ou 3, queda 4 já, meu parceiro. Tá 4. Deu predict essa, Fer? Não. Vamos ver. Vou jogar na Ste. Número 2 ali. SZ Ste. O BTR. E aí, galera? Vamos ver. Chegou atrasado pra caramba? Chegou atrasado pra caramba, meu.
Genesis Dogma, DRS and the Infinity all still for the most part outside the circle. Cryptic's following a little bit suit. Same Enigma down on the southwest island.
Infinity though, all the way up north.
Fala, Naizinha, bom dia. Só deu bom dia agora, você tá acordada faz tempo, né?
If the zone does shift towards the Camp Alpha island, then sure, Infinity could be in for a world of pain. But if it's kind of like a couple of circles we've seen in the past Imperium, where we saw it like over the water, over, you know, across a bridge or something, then they could be in a pretty good spot to just ruin a lot of players' days. As finally, BTR will get a knock on one member of Damwon Gaming, and Zuxi, good repositioning there. Fabian, that nade was on its mark, at least based on where Zuxi was a couple of minutes back, but good repositioning, ensuring that Damwon Gaming
O BTR tretando.
a couple of nades will be exchanged here, and for BTR,
não.
maybe
Você vai tomar, hein? Quero só ver.
You know, just maybe
Tô resolvendo uma coisa. Ryzen é melhor da BTR? Mas acho que o Ryzen nem tá jogando.
For now, yes. For the time being, I understand why they're being a bit passive, because Phase 2 is about to pop up. We don't know where it's going to go. Luckily for them, there's not really too much behind them as a nade goes in the direction of Liquid. Forest disengages away.
Valeu, Naizinha. Obrigado. Obrigado. Caralho. Caralho, obrigado. Já misturei tudo. 90 pro café? Boa. Já vai tomar aquele pingado. Bom dia pra Goiânia. Bom dia pra Goiânia, Lucas.
That's huge. And now Highboy versus Forest. Forest, if he can somehow escape this little hut and find some cover, it could be big.
Oh, so close!
Somehow his Achilles heels have been shattered, but he somehow jumps to safety, but not for long. Zuxi will finish him off, and that's going to be 2 quick finishes for BTR. Sure, they lose a member, but Sung will have to run for the hill. There's nothing much he can do for his teammates. Damwon Gaming. Keep one player alive, but that's about it, and just the one kill point. So BTR, yeah, they almost get a squad wipe, but they do suffer a casualty, which they probably wouldn't be too happy about. And looking at the next zone shift, it's nothing too crazy. In fact, I think everyone's going to be happy with this.
I disagree. No? Massively. Yes, it eliminates a good chunk of the water, but it suffers at the wrath of now having still a strong percentage of that mainland in play, a solid percentage of that Southwest Island in play. The likes of Stalwart, 6-2, well, actually no, 6-2 already land on that Northwest Island, but even to an extent 4 rivals, to an extent, they committed quite heavily to that Northwest Island.
Tô esperando essa lenda aí, Rato.
Their way in, it eliminates
the ability of getting. O Ryzen não tinha saído, eu acho que ele saiu. Bom dia pra Campina Grande, Paraíba. Ó, bom dia pra Campina Grande, Paraíba. Podia ter igual o Soguinho, o jogo morre no começo. Ele que tá dando um azar pra caralho. Esse da BTR foi o Microboy.
Yeah,
maybe
okay,
Infinity.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But that's like what,
Jumper.
2, 3 out of 14?
They get fine BTR as well.
Esse cara tá louco pra
I
fazer.
can come up with a couple more teams.
Okay,
Oh, there we go. I was
Sabia que ia tomar.
waiting for Genesis Dogma to strike on the team secret. Booms though.
Então vai, recua. Nossa, não pegou, velho.
Somehow Imperium he stays alive for the time being.
Qual foi essa?
Fredo,
Ah,
that's
foi
not a
Smoke.
good play at all. Wait.
Was
that
that
Ah,
yeah,
não,
that
foi
was
não.
the name.
Meu Deus do céu.
Like how his teammate just kept
Foi HE
staring at him.
mesmo.
He's like, wait, did he just throw a nade and run away? He's like, yep, run. And they will. Now Jumper's crawling back to safety, so the smokes have been deployed. So Rez is very much within the realms of possibility here for Secret. But Genesis Dogma, they should be looking to harass them. And there we go. Brilliant little spot there from Satar. Finds the knock. He's out in the blue as well, and they weren't expecting that angle. And look at them now triangulating onto Team Secret's position, looking for the finish.
It's so good by Genesis Dogma, getting that wraparound. And knock doesn't always mean that
Team Secret hoje não tá ainda menos. A única opção sai Luxus do time menor, brabo demais, você é louco. Os caras vão ser tipo a Ayala na Chinquiço. Sai nunca.
I love this. They're just running out of the blue and they're just wrapping around Team Secret. They thought, all right, they wouldn't be coming in from behind, would they? Yeah, well, they are. They are.
Oxi, não viram? Não viram?
Now he could potentially try and keep them pinned down or play distraction for them.
Nossa, velho, o cara lá levantando nas costas. Ah, não. Agora
Now
viu.
he's all alone. He's trying to protect his
Meu
teammates
Deus do
there
céu.
on top, but shot has been spotted. And Fredo, nade being cooked.
Por um dinheiro demais da conta, sabe como gastar?
The question, and it is going to be, wait, where did he die from?
Esses caras ganham tanto assim? E aí, Rapi? Bom dia pra Lajeado, Rio Grande do Sul. Bom dia pra Lajeado.
In the end, as he died, he did get the knockdown on today, but overall a very strong engagement from
A 7 já tá grandona nessa safe, hein?
Secret made that classic mistake of when they suffered a knock, they kind of took too long to go for the revive.
Yeah.
So often we see that, not so much in the
A
like
7 já tá grandona.
PMGC, but
Ah,
we see
CS
teams
pegar ali o
suffer a
morrão.
knock and they automatically go for the revive.
É grandão
When
também.
you go for a revive automatically, you give the opposing team the classic opportunity, like Genesis
Opposing team.
of repositioning, blanketing around, and putting 3 times the pressure onto your team. At that moment when
Caralho, com
Genesis
essa
Dogma
HE é
got the
normal.
initial knock, there was no
Tava
real
Lexinho.
pressure by Genesis Dogma onto Team Seeker. Team Seeker gave Genesis Dogma the time, the space, the movement to push in.
Well, right now though, because of that, Genesis Dogma 4 kills.
BTR tá pulando bootcamp?
And if you saw the zone,
Tá?
Imperium,
Lembro.
everyone in Camp Alpha,
Vamos ver.
Camp Alpha and Hothin are going to
Peraí.
be feeling the pressure now. What do they do?
I saw it coming. When phase 2 popped up and it went over to the east, I was like, this is not looking good. It's going to be incredibly difficult for probably Stalwart more than anybody. 6 to 8 do need to be aware of 4 rivals. Reject have the trifecta that they can play around. But yeah, for MS Chambori and 6 to 8, it's very dicey for them. Infinity wrapping around, making it.
Não, quem tá pulando lá é Sté, do
It's a
Pica.
good position to go to in this phase 3. Risky
Sté
to
Pica
commit
tá pulando lá.
yourself to such a big city early
Ele
on in
ainda
the
faz
game, but they
streamer da
definitely
NTZ?
understand
Sim, eu tenho contrato com a NTZ,
have
pô.
been shifting why they would go there.
Yeah, we actually saw DRS in boot camp.
Posta do Discord? O Discord é da SKE.
Maybe they were thinking the same, they had
O
the same
Discord é
thoughts as you, that
antigo,
they have
ainda uso.
evacuated the premises, and they're going to be heading up a little
Sei
bit
que vai
towards the north,
bootcamp.
right, towards the water,
É isso aí.
Paris Resort, and MS Chonburi. This is a position which could be great for them, if not the fact that it
Os
is
6 primeiros da
in the
Super
blue.
Weekend.
And Jasper, he sees he smokes. He
Vai ter
knows
uma
there's
final
someone
dos
there.
16.
Is that
Não, vai ter
someone
uma
being the
final.
final
A
surviving
Super
member
Weekend serve
of
pra
the game?
ver quais 16 times vão pra final. Os 16 primeiros classificados no final da Super Weekend vai ter lá 3 Super Weekend. No final vai ter uma tabela. Os 16 primeiros fazem uma final. Entendeu? Daí desses 16, da final Leste vai 9 e da Oeste vai 6. Oeste do Pará, Marco, velho. Caralho. Tarve aí pra Porto Trombetas. Classifica os 6 primeiros. Trabalho isolado do Super Wing que tá top 2 de dano. É que não teve muitas partidas aqui também ainda, né?
Back again we go. Back again we go. And now we got some STE on STE action. My favorite type of action. And 33Z, you got to move there, bud. You just got standing out in the open. Takes a bullet in the buttocks, but he'll be fine. He's gonna patch himself up. And Strawberry Spot's not. Where is action? Where do I spot him on the? Oh, he's quite far away.
Yeah,
they need to cross the road, and I don't think they're gonna be fancying it, considering STE is so very close by.
But DRS, they need to play this coastline position as a team because they have the opportunity to third party onto 628 without getting really heavily pushed by the Infinity FaZe Clan. They come in, they get a knock onto 628. Daoshi is down.
Pode sem um? Ah, ele não vai acordar nem a pau pra assistir. Ele tá acordando 3 horas da tarde. Ele deve ter dormido umas 8 horas da manhã. Não vai acordar agora nem fodendo. Talvez na final ele venha. Tem que combinar com o Vitor. O Caio também eu sei que assiste, pô. Quem tu acha que vai ser o convidado da Índia? Cara, não faço ideia, não acompanho lá direito, mano. Não acompanho lá direito. Tem PMGC hoje dos BR? Tem. 3 horas, normal.
Now, I know you can't always perfectly time these things, but I think DRS for the most part were far too slow.
Time do Jonathan Gaming. Ah, aquele Jonathan Gaming é gigante, né, velho?
Infinity of all people, but for the most part, Genesis Dogman do still remain somewhat in control, and DRS has only Mafia and Ninja left standing.
Well, Strawberry Esports as well. Just the two.
Ih, vai dar pra levantar.
Top and Scry having to go because MS Chonburi without have that
Este vai tomar ali.
little watchtower to work with. Jasper's going to patch himself in the meantime. Top. Oh, they're getting shot at from the distance by someone else. And meantime, you got to remember Infinity.
Ah, da Índia vai ser o camp que vai ganhar. Quem vai ganhar o camp deles? Nem sabia que eles iam ter um camp só da Índia.
So Infinity, even though it was looking a little messy.
Hoje, como não sabia que a Índia tinha PUBG, a gente só tem indiano na partida. Desde que tem o PUBG, você fala, ixi, só tem indiano na partida. Nossa, que isso? Doidão, hein?
You have to say it. 4 games, how many points? Like 5, 6 points?
Yeah, roughly around that. It definitely has been a quiet day, but hey, look, there's still 2
Não, contra ele não vai ser convidado.
This one, we'll see if they can turn things around and end the day on a bit of a high note. The circle does shift up north. Down one, they get taken out. Well, actually, no, Sasung is still alive. My apologies, Sasung is still alive. BTR, yeah, I know, right? BTR traversing across the water on towards that southwest island, up and towards the northwest. They should be able to see them take down the last player down one.
Vai correr agachado.
I said 2 circles ago.
É isso mesmo. O cara vai correr agachado. Ah, não. Olha a M4zera.
But across the water, it's going to be Infinity. Raffling off bullets, and I'm looking at the map. I can see Nysel, the last man standing for Genesis Dogma, and I have to say it's looking very unlikely. It's quite a distance away, and even when he does arrive to safety, Infinity going to be lying in wait. He's got to cross the water as well, or the bridge, and it's impossible for a Genesis Dogma. But they do have 6 kills. They're going to be happy with it, as FaZe are going to be absolutely wrecked by Infinity. But now, Cryptics trying to take down Enigma Galaxy. 3 members
que teu predict, Daniel?
Singing a little bit of RHCP perhaps, but it's not looking good at all.
Tem uma mochila da Adidas. Poxa, nem reparei.
So right now,
from the 1 member, yeah.
Right now there's 4 teams healing.
Não falar porque cheguei não faz muito tempo na live, mas nessa queda a FaZe não tá aparecendo muito. Cara, e a FaZe precisa ficar viva, na real. Nossa, Infinity foi. Se for falar de Coin Sexy Boom, caralho.
628, I just took a look at it and yeah, I saw that one little
RRQ?
person remaining that
Acho que
will
RRQ não
representing
classificou,
a member
não
seems to
foi?
disappear as well. Sun is
Paraguai
still
foi o único que
alive.
participou de
What
todas
a
as mundiais.
survivor. He's an
É,
actual
segundo.
true survivor.
BTR right now.
This is a
Eu
good
sei que é
position
este.
unless Cryptic
Ó, BTR.
A couple of good results there, up to 3 players. The side of the hill is a really hard place to control. Having one down on the low ground, I think, is the best.
Não, não foi o único que participou de todos os mundiais, não.
Got to hope that Cryptic Stone kind of
Sim, que isso também, não foi?
Oh no, just to say
Paiala também.
Cryptics go down.
Why have you said that? Why have you said that? Cryptic's at 3 alive.
Então toma. Vai. Bota a cara aí. Desavisado.
Sarah picks around the corner. Sarah will be knocked out. Reject.
Poxa, da Dito só veio pro Pubg chinês e coreano.
But now, feeling the curse of the bullets from MS Chonburi, who are the only team who seemingly
O nome deles é Bacon? Sério?
That particular compound. Because BTR, they're content just lying out in the open. We look at the next circle shift, and it is going to be favoring MS Chonburi. So
você vê daqui a 30 anos e como você vê o PUBG daqui a 30 anos. Ah, velho. Nem se eu botar vivo. Sei lá.
Technically it goes towards them, but I would argue it puts them under a little bit more risk because there's
PUBG daqui a 30 anos provavelmente não tenha, óbvio.
It's a classic
Vão
kind
ter
of
outros
three-way
jogos.
dance. Yes, the last player down one is behind him. He could come into a little
30
bit of a mix,
anos.
but
Se falasse daqui a 2, 3 anos, mas 30 anos.
between those.
E aí, boy caiu.
Now he's aware. He should know that BTR are in that particular direction. Roth will finally fall, running out of.
E quem não foi pra outra PMGC? Pra primeira só, né? Ó o Lux. Toma então. Toma então. Então toma. Então toma. E pegou as kills ainda. Nossa, que dó. Ó o Samsung ali, cara. Tá quietinho. Esse Samsung vai fazer a maldade, velho. Mano, esse Samsung vai fazer a maldade, velho.
BTR, he's not going for the revive. Looks, he wants to push in.
Ó, olha, esse cara vai ganhar, velho. Ele vai fazer a maldade. Ele só vai esperar o cara matar o Zuxi. Mata o cara, velho. Vai ficar um x1. Mata o cara, meu irmão. Ai, meu Deus do céu.
There we go. Oh, we got a three-way, a three-split cam.
Meu Deus do céu.
Rezus has taken
Que
place now.
agonia.
They need to heal each other, heal themselves rather. But a nade getting lobbed and completely ruined their way. And
Que agonia.
finally made a move. He's finally
Ele vai escutar você e você vai morrer por ser um vacilão.
Still wait for MSC to go up against BTR and eliminate each other.
Meu Deus, que agonia. Caraca, o que esse cara tá fazendo?
He is so focused on Pop. He knows exactly where he is, and he's gonna creep on down further. Meanwhile, Jasper sneaking, crawling.
Nossa do céu, velho.
Zoxy's gonna find the line on him, and Song, he's just waiting. He's just waiting for MSC. Oh, he spots Zoxy. Oh, he's just waiting for them to eliminate each other, and he's finally gonna strike the moment. Zoxy gets a knock. Zoxy's found it, and now it is all on Song to make the.
Caralho! Boa! Mano, jogou muito, velho! Caralho, velho, nem fodendo, Samsung. Caralho, jogo muito, mano. Nem fodendo. Certinho, velho. Eu critiquei ainda, o cara fez certinho. Ficou quietinho ali, na hora da... só fez a maldade. Jurava que esse cara ia vacilar, mano. Não, jogou muito, jogou muito.
Last year in the PMGC, but that was so crisp. And yes, say what you want, but that is the beauty of Sanhok, right? The solo player, the snake play comes in. Beautiful game from BTR. Great push on the MS Chonburi. But Sun took the chicken dinner away.
He just stole it. Like, that's daylight robbery.
Yeah.
Like, daylight robbery coming in from Song. And I gotta say, like, firstly, I love how everything just aligned here, Imperium. You said they're a very passive team. Song was passive.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of players in that position.
Não.
In that situation, it was
1000 de QI, mano. Jogou muito. Tem o Gelo, tem o Carrilho, tem o Samsung. Não, cara, Samsung, velho, apavorou, na moral. Quero até ver o highlight dele aqui.
Would you believe it? They lined up for him.
And I counted them out, right?
Caralho, velho. O moleque ficou quietinho, de boaça.
But like, dude, I love PUBG Mobile. Like, you know, I love PUBG Mobile. It's such a glorious game. I do have to highlight the MS Chambori off the back of a fantastic win in Game 3.
E essa DWG tinha ficado de fora das duas primeiras Super Weekend. Não, da primeira, quer dizer.
I'm really liking how MS Chambori are developing.
Well, I'm enjoying Damwon Game.
É isso, Samsung!
To gather my jaw from that. Jason, take it away. That was incredible.
There we go. Jaw has been brought back. I don't know what I was doing there. I was trying to be funny. It didn't work out. But what a play. Speaking of working out, Sung, how does that work for him? Just patiently waiting, as you're saying, guys.
Ah, os caras não viram porque estavam tretando. Daí o cara não atirou. Ele teve tempo de curar. O cara falou, ah, minhas costas tá limpas. Se o cara não atirou até agora, não vai atirar mais. Eles acharam que o cara tava em algum lugar rodando kit. Provavelmente.
I think Sung thought he was a view on YouTube for a second.
Nossa, a BTR ainda ficou em primeiro.
I can start shooting people. I can actually get a win here. So you got involved at the end. It was so clutch, Tarzan. We were on the edge of our seats thinking, wait.
É o capaceiro. Eu já vi vídeos desse capaceiro aí.
Everyone is focused on MS Chamburi.
Legal umas play, matando 2 por play só, né?
Da
estratégia. Não sei o que. Falar com vozinha DT, né?
They didn't know he was actually in the circle and he just snatched it away.
You know what? Like, the level of patience that Mensch has shown is incredible. You think about the just get all the PUBG players right there.
Tá voltando God.
99.9% will have shot something before.
É, BTR tá acordando.
Using the ridge line to crawl as well. And
esse bichinho estranho, viu? Vai ficar jogando fone, vai, ô vagabundo.
He played that to win. That is insane, the amount of patience and control.
Got a little bit lucky too, because I believe like the last two players kind of lined up for it as well. So able, really easy, just knocking them both down. So having to go from like the left side of the screen to the other side.
O highlight
we
do
can see
rato
here
aqui.
our Super Weekends rankings just from this Super Weekend. This does not include the first week, so no, just talking about not currently in first place. 50 points on the day. Where has this team been? Where has Zaxi been? We saw him as the MVP now 2 matches in a row. Well, not in a row, but 2 matches in today.
Well,
nossa, só o giro tá com o Parkinson.
So this is the type of playstyle we wanted to see from BTR, to try and get a little bit more to the late game, feel a
Então
little bit
toma.
more confident, which we are seeing. So I'm definitely happy to see that happen.
SLR cantou, hein?
Jason,
então toma.
I mean,
Max, in your opinion, since Clarence is not here, do you think Tong Jabao are a 16th place team?
No, Jason, I do not think talking about our A16th place
team, but they're not showing progress,
unfortunately today, which is really odd because they're still going for these big splits and they keep losing players one by one.
Esse cara nem contou.
They're losing their opportunity to get to the late game and to potentially get a win.
Ó, Frentola.
If you don't adjust that anytime soon, they might be one of the few teams that
Mastou no Frentola de novo, bacana.
Tong Jabao, we need to see some big changes because it's just been the same thing over and over and over again, and teams, unfortunately, as we saw, are learning, are improving, and it's just not
Eu também, Festiteira, eu também, mano.
Yeah, not really seeming to be too
bacana, bacana. Tomou já, vai cagar aí na mão, vai. Então toma, então vai, GD. Já 4x. Boa, filhote. Bacana, que é outra. Então vai, os 3. Bala, então toma. Pô, mas tava sem nada de vida clicar, hein? Eita porra, boa. Quero ver esse corte. Aí.
And yourself, and well, I guess I technically could do that myself if I go watch. And also, we also have a community tournament, the PMGC
bacana, pô.
It's open to everyone out there, yeah, even you, Max, no, not to you, because I don't want everyone to see what we saw at
Weekend
PMCE
ainda.
not
Jogando casual é rato.
Please go register though to play.
Que isso, nós que isso? Ressuscitou. Nossa! Os dois. Porra é essa, rato?
Honestly, I'm really happy to see how things have played out today. I am
Caralho,
really
belo
happy
corte,
to see that
belo
FaceBam,
corte.
Bigatron,
Então
Damwon
toma,
have all come into
vai.
this one prepared and ready to go. I didn't want to see the
Ixi, tá
continuation of them just
bacana.
barely getting by like we saw in the second week of league play. It's been a fantastic turnaround for them.
These are two teams I would say that it's not even I would say, it's just clearly they needed a good result to try and catch up to the likes of, for example, Cryptics or even Enigma Galaxy, and they've been doing so.
Yes.
And it's just the first day. The fact that they got already so many points in one day alone is great. If they can do that also in the next 2 days, I mean, they're already going to be in that top 16 super comfortably, I would say here.
Então toma.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head
Entendendo
to
você
break. We get
vacilão.
things ready to go here for our last match of the day, so don't go anywhere.
Então toma. Bacana, bacana os precinhos de CLR. Então toma, tem uma pra cima também. Não viu. Vai no Prefire. Vai no spray. Pulou, acertou, foi. É, quase que o Valen faz a play, hein? Pegou um, não pegou outro d'água. Não toma. Eu não sei vacilou. Ô, o Weekend tem que voltar. Que isso? Que isso? Jogou bola, hein? É, no final deu pra ver que deu aquela bugada na tela. Quem mais tinha falado é o Gigante, né? Gigante CZ, é isso. Vamos lá, vamos ver o do Gigante. Highlights. Fone XR. Tá, atropelou, frentola. Boa. Ela, 3xzinha. Ó, que isso? Então vai.
Hopefully you can see yourself getting a chicken dinner if you pick up one of those bad boys, the One Plus, which is the official sponsor here at PMGC with its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. One Plus 9 and 9 Pro, your best shot.
É, Gigante, 3x tá calibrado, hein, fi? Que isso?
In that last match, taking the chicken dinner for themselves. Honestly, that's going to go down in PMGC history. But the funniest thing for me is,
Ventola bacana também, gostei.
Ryzen did something a bit similar, though it was on
Gostei,
Miramar.
gostei,
so
gostei.
Kind of justice to see it happen to them.
Yeah, history tends to repeat itself. Oh, sorry.
Max, we want to talk about Ryzen because I almost forgotten about this very key point. We've talked about changes, you know, the past week in rosters. When he wasn't a starter of today.
Caralho, gostei, mano. Gostei. Boa.
Is what you said, right, Max? You said,
o 3x tá forte, hein?
Suxy,
Tem frentola bom, hein, Gigante?
He's not been there and they are doing fine.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to have those big changes to make things stick, potentially. And I really like, actually, how Liquid has been serving as the main scout for the team throughout today, especially that first
Foi
game.
droga. Já meti a jogada lá. Porra!
Even though it feels weird to say this, but maybe you want to keep Liquid in, and maybe you want to also try
and keep it mais. Vamos lá.
There's been some positive impacts brought by those two players in particular to the team. So,
porra, descarei ele, velho.
It's unfortunate to say that, right? Because you know Ryzen has done so much for the scene and for BTR as a whole throughout the years now, but
Vector é chato,
things change, and sometimes you just got to go with those massive changes, and if it works out, then you got to keep on.
Quero ver esse corte.
I'm waiting to see the Terminator come back into these lobbies. It's been coined. It's been a while, I feel like, since we've been able to see him be that kind of formidable force. But then again, we're seeing Zuxi step up. So if we talk about the depth of BTR, they have phenomenal players, like some of the best players in the world. But it's great to see that we can see some other people step up considering how things have been now turning finally in favor of BTR with their 50 points. But we do have Erangel coming up. You can see it's about a minute 20 away before we do hop into this final match. And, you know, overall, really quickly, gentlemen, while we have a little bit of time, what's been your big takeaway from today so far?
I think it would be weird to not say Nigma Galaxy here, Jason. Sure, there was that Miramar game where I think there was a little bit of hesitancy, and I think they could have potentially even gone even further, but they still got himself at third place.
Cadê o outro?
After that, they got himself
Toma!
at 3 on the rank.
Vai!
First place with 15
Boa!
eliminations.
Isso!
Nigma Galaxy has had a drastic change in their mentality.
Boa,
I think
carai!
that they needed to make sure they were not that...
Pegou?
moving
Pegou! Tá
towards,
bom!
that bottom side of the top 16. And I'm happy to see it. Even though FaZe and BTR has had a relatively good day today,
DEIXE
they have
está
not let himself go down to
cantante,
easy, which
velho.
I think is a great change from Nigma Galaxy. And if they can build some consistency around that, I think that they can make sure they can qualify in the top 16 here.
As for me, I know there's a lot of teams that we want to see them perform well, and they have. But Starwood Esports not one of them. They are kind of there.
É, eu explico que você tem, velho.
We know they can do
Entendi.
a lot more.
Então vai.
And so when we look forward as well,
Então vai.
it's going to be quite interesting
Então
because we
toma.
know on the
Pega
sub-island
aí.
we've got very interesting dynamics.
Então entra aí, vai.
6
Se
to
não é
8
o
say,
bom.
we are going to guard the western one, and then Infinity said, okay, so we have to move to the east. And Starwood suddenly
Ó o
can't
Gerson
sleep
tomando aí.
around
Fala,
the coast.
Walter,
So
bom
that is
dia.
something that I'm going to be looking out for if it allows them to drop that way.
Boa.
Okay, well, let's head into that final match. The final match here of our first ever second Super
Ó,
Weekend.
foi no aberto, na confiança.
And Imperium.
Bacana, gostei, hein, gigante. Gostei, bacana. Pentola chato, 3x cantante. Micropigmentação capilar, que porra é essa? Ai.
I had a bit of a personal issue over the last couple of days where my bicycle got stolen, and the Irish police.
O rato também é bom, cara.
Helpful in
Opa, já começou a queda?
I think I should recruit
Então
them
vamos pra
to
última
try and
quedinha do
investigate
dia.
the robbery that we saw the
E é
last
desse
game.
lado leste.
Insane, absolutely
Só
insane.
foi.
Beautiful, glorious, defining. You take it.
Vou pegar um gole de água, com sede já.
I mean, you could also call your police.
Tá careca nada?
Where TJB are because they've seemed to have gone missing.
Que uma coisa, velho.
Yeah, that's also a fair point to bring on board. Looking at the numbers, they're really overall looking in a very dangerous position. In the first Super Weekend, they only got 74 points, which is an average of roughly 4.95 points per game. In today's first 4 games, they've only scored 5 points. When you look at FaZe, BTR, even Down One Gaming, right? Those
Se vai de CS, cara, eu vou safe base e eu vou jogar quem tá na base, então. E quem tá ali, eu vou de Infinity. Pode falar, se a Souls não cuidar, algum time vai pegar o gigante. Mas merece, né, cara? Tem que ter chance mesmo, tem que jogar PMCO, PMPL. Merece chance, cara, tem que crescer. Olha o Samsung aí, ó.
Feisty and tasty. It is completely encircling the
Da
military
PMGC, que meu Deus do céu.
and
Rapaziada, falando nisso, tudo vocês que estão começando, tem que aproveitar esses campeonatos que estão tendo. A 7 tá fazendo um campeonato agora, vai ter o campeonato do Flamengo com 10 mil reais de premiação. A VK tá fazendo um campeonato, então tem que aproveitar. Tem que aproveitar e entrar nesses campeonatos, aproveitar para você destacar. E daí sempre vai fazendo a base treinando já, porque PMCO tá aí, cara. PMCO tá aí, PMPL é logo lá também. O ano já começa e tem que começar forte, cara, com objetivo. Tem que chegar firme com propósito. Então, aproveita esses campos aí que tem final do ano agora, camp bom, premiação boa. Tanto da 7, da VK, do Flamengo, e só vai. Ih, já foi caindo ali o da MST. Para dessa, Vitor. Não, o Vitor tava sem loot, mas já tava em cima da ponte. Vai, então. Nossa, nem ferrando. Ah, não, mano. Ah, tá, ele pegou. Nossa, o cara tava 1 de vida, velho. Nossa, 1 de vida.
Very early skirmishes breaking out here, primarily because of the zone, right? Some teams are looking to get ahead of everyone else as Genesis Dogma.
Oh no! What are you doing, Genesis Dogma?
But they have no idea. The Starwood East was the right way, but action out in the open. He gets knocked down. Pika with a quick reply onto Booms, and Sataris, he is getting the hell out of there. 2 knocks taking place on a Genesis Dogma. Why? I guess they weren't expecting Starwood to come out of Novo.
Come on! You're 3.5 minutes in, they probably would have in some way heard the shots that Genesis Dogma put onto MS Chambori, you know, you take the kill, you turn right at the bridge, and you look to scout first. Much safer on the right-hand side of the bridge, instead of going towards Nova or going towards a radio tower. A little bit needless from Genesis Dogma. Call it whatever you want, but a big mistake off the back of what has been
GD já começou perdendo 2, esse com 1,
fairly
esse
strong
1.
day for Genesis Dogma.
Safe base é foda. Agora os times vão lá, vão lutear a base.
Very tunnel vision
Vai
and
que
chasing
vai.
and hunting down Miss Chonburi, right? So they were only seeing red, they got tunnel visioned, and unfortunately, you know, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're so focused on getting that particular elimination, trying to get that squad wipe.
Sim, a maioria já pega e já tenta passar, né? Porque, cara, não adianta você fazer loot e depois ficar horrível pra passar. O negócio é você tentar passar, daí você faz um loot pra lá. Passou, pelo menos tá safe. Porque se 30% dos times passarem pra base, pra você passar já vai ser foda. Um time que esteja marcando cada ponto, você já se fudeu. Já vai ser difícil tretar. Porque daí já vem gente chegando nas costas pra passar também. E você ainda não conseguiu tretar pra passar. Uma bosta. Safe base é foda, mano. É foda. Tu joga competitivo não? Joga não. Ah, eu jogo casual, brincando.
Rather than relying on the bridges or relying on even holding on to the mainland. So having Newsy there to provide a little bit of early scouting.
O Pika levantou novamente, porque o Pika tava meio mole, meio abatido, cara. Agora o Pika tá grandão. Já chegou fazendo kill, já tá... O Pika acordou. O Pika ele só tá reclamando que ele anda meio sem dinheiro. O Pika sempre lá, tá duro. Mas fora isso, GG. O Zlatan faz o loot e depois passa ponto ou água. Não, mas é muito mais difícil você fazer o loot depois e passar, né? Isso que eu tô falando. Olha os caras da ST estão rotando o esquerdo, olha. Quem estava bem era B4 nessa safe. Hoje é a BD, né? Tipo, ó, Stella que cai novo, fazendo um loot bom. MSC vai conseguir fazer um loot legal. RC também tá fazendo um loot legal, Infinity. Até os que vão lutear ali o começo. Mas, pô, pra phase passar vai ser já mais difícil. Só que, cara, eu não duvido que essa safe não volta pra cima. Não duvido. A safe pode voltar. E aí, os times que já passaram, ó, toma no cu.
I'll always say to upcoming teams and players that want to play competitively or, you know, putting their first moves competitively, watch the global stage, watch the bigger tournaments, because this does not happen enough in kind of, you know, PMCOs, PMPLs, where
in the local
if you
leagues,
see that kind of, so, you know, very much learnable in this kind of situation. Now, 628, of course, Daoshi, who is the recon man, has had to disengage away.
Tá na
The one
play.
thing I would say about that rotation is it was automatically far too close to the edge of the circle, to the edge of the mainland.
Aí não tem revisamento, é super weekend.
That close, he could have gone much further away.
Ei, Daniel.
Out of side of reject, but in the end, he isn't taken down, and information has been provided to the rest of his team.
Yeah, Reject's position really powerful on those.
Nossa, Infinity for Rival levando empatadinha ali, hein? E a Gitz coladinha nas costas. For Rival, né? For Rival. Cadê a nova com o Paraboy, Paralyze Asiático? Quem classificou para segundo Super Weekend?
No one's crossing the bridge, but there's literally not a single soul on either of the two bridges.
I love Down One Gaming's, or Down One Kia, should I say specifically.
Meu Deus, NGX.
And they're able to catch out one of the Enigma players for the time being. They've been here for the last 2 to 3 minutes it got here.
Ó, BTR em 4 quedas já fez 50 pontos.
Phase number 2, because as much as we've threaded,
BTR tá com uma média boa.
It's not guaranteed.
It isn't. It isn't. 100% not guaranteed, but we're going to be finding out right now. If it
Tá
is going to be a
adiantado.
northern shift, oh boy, there are going to be a lot of bodies in the water. But it looks like it is indeed going to be a military island finish. There was a chance there for a couple of seconds where it could have gone up north, but things heading down south. Right now, Enigma Galaxy, a bit of a pickle. Commodity is isolated. There's not much you can do.
Ah, não. Vai fechar a base mesmo.
They should be waiting for him, but no,
Olha lá.
he picks the right side, and he's got an angle. Just a fade away
Mano,
shot.
ninguém marcando ponte. Tanto uma quanto a outra. Ninguém. Olha que doido isso. O cara não curte marcar ponte. É bom saber que eles não fazem isso. É bom por quê? Porque dá pra gente fazer isso. E outra é porque dá pra passar também. Não tem isso. Média horrível, você quer dizer? Não, média boa pra caralho, mano. A BTR não jogou primeira Super Weekend. Ela jogou 4 partidas e fez 50 pontos. Tá com uma média de 12. 12 pontos. 12,5 pontos. Então você pega 12,5 pontos, só quem tá em primeiro é a Infinity. A Infinity jogou 15, 19. 185 divididos por 19. Tá com média 9,73. A BTR tá com média 12,5. Entendeu?
Game finish if Enigma Galaxy can find Favy.
They're one player alive. You know what that means. Not a chicken.
Oh my lord. I love how you shut me down. Come on. This isn't Sandhawk, man. This isn't Sandhawk.
Listen, all I'm saying is there's a lot of water. There's some bridges.
Fala, Will. Como é que tamo?
Okay.
They got the res?
Will, temos que fechar o negócio pra hoje, hein, cara. Ah, Will, chama a Meg aí. Chama a Meg já. O Douglas falou que não ia conseguir ver lá, ele passou pra Meg, então chama ela lá. Me ajuda a resolver isso aí, cara. Vamos resolver isso aí. A Gamora quer saber pra começar a fazer as artes já. Amanhã tem a votação, etc. E já acelera o Era, Will. Acelera o Era pra saber como é que tá o negócio do troféu lá. Faz um favor. Pois é, né, cara? Que doideira, ninguém pegando ponte. Tem os caras tretando aí fora da ponte. Meu Deus do céu.
That's gonna connect on the core by knockdown. MR5 is in the front line, but once again, BR11 is in the back line. MR5 gets knocked down.
Nessa média eles não buscam topo nunca? Ah, mas eles nem tem que buscar topo da Super Weekend, eles só tem que classificar. O topo lá é no... na final, né? Ah, você vai ver o Era hoje? Dali Ferzot, lateral esquerdo que tem 2 pés direito. Ô, Pretinho! E aí, Preto? Eu não sou lateral esquerdo, cara. Ah, é zagueiro, caralho. Como estamos, Pretinho? Tranquilão? Pô, Preto, joguei 2 partidas, tô com 2 gols, você jogou quase todas e tá com 3 só, cara. Eu preciso mandar as coisas pro lugar lá, tô correndo com isso. Mandar o quê? Mandar o quê? Agora os caras vão pra ponte porque fechou ponte. Fala pra Vians. Mas é que eu falo pra você chamar a Megan, que daí você já resolve com ela, entendeu? Porque daí eu tenho a live agora, daí depois da partida tem as 3 do BR. Eu não vou conseguir chamar eles hoje lá pra resolver a Megan. Por isso que eu queria que você resolvesse com ela. Nem vale grana essa Super Weekend, ou vale? Não, não vale grana não. Que vale só os finais. Ou seja, é classificar. Classificou pra final, GG. E outra, aqui é deles, pensa classificar pra final. Dos 16 times que vão pra final, 9 vão pra grande final presencial. Porra, o cara tá em casa, 9 vagas. Entendi. Fala, Alex. Eu predict praticamente morreu já. Qual que foi da predict? A phase.
course, Death to All But Metal as well. You'll be familiar with that one as the Phase 3 did pop up, is shifted up north. A little bit of water in play.
Sim, 9 aqui. Dessa leste, 6 da nossa, que é oeste, e 1 da Índia. Grande final é presencial mesmo? Cara, presencial sim, mas ela não vai ser aquela presencial LAN, que você vai ver a galera no estádio, etc. Não, vai ser só, vão levar a galera pro mesmo hotel para jogar todo mundo com o mesmo ping, e a gente vai ver no máximo uma câmera da galera lá no quarto do hotel. Isso. Acho que a FaZe vai virar esse game. Nem entendi nada, Preto. Para de mentir aí. Esse tá fudida. Vai morrer já. Esse Preto é foda. O apelido dele é Preto, hein, rapaziada? Eu esteja xingando. Achar que eu tô xingando. Ei, Pretinho. Amanhã não é contra nós, né? Mas eu não vou jogar dezembro inteiro. Tô na transmissão aí. Fala, meu Deus, bom dia. Como no ano passado, né? Ele não responde mais. Oxi, o que você quer que eu responda, filho? Você falou hoje às 15, eu não vou assistir não, vou pintar a casa. O que eu posso te responder? Boa pintura? Tá tranquilo, Secão, tamo junto, pô. Ah, nem fala, esse Covid é uma bosta mesmo. Atrapalhou tudo. Nossa. Ah, tá. Tem Secret não. Tá, foi esse té. A Infinity tá bem, cara. Tá espetada com as costas ali, velho. Podia ter uma Fúria nesse PUBG, ia ser muito top. Fúria quase entrou. Não, Fúria não. É, foi a Fúria que quase entrou no ano passado. Foi a Fúria. Fúria quase entrou, velho. Sabia? Silenciado. Oxe, por que ia silenciar, filho? Presencial ser show? Nossa, nem me fale, velho. Saudade de ver um presencialzinho. É muito ver os moleques lá jogando em LAN. Se o BR ganhar essa PMGC, certeza que a Loud vem pro PUBG? Não. Não vem. Loud já quase veio também, mas não vem. Não vem. Loud não vem.
Hater takes a couple of shots off a lovely nade being cooked up. That could connect on
two. Tô indo bem, não consegui recuperar esses dias. O BR estão... A 7 tá bem, os outros estão... mais ou menos pra bem. Tem, cadê meu ADM? Olá, eu tive que tirar os ADM e ainda não consigo pôr de volta, cara. Eu tive um problema, tive que tirar todos os ADM, eu não consigo pôr de volta. Ainda, tô bloqueado. Mas essa camisa é linda demais, né, Lauzinho? O foco deles é live? É, exatamente. É, exatamente, cara. Se o BR ganhar, é melhor pra todo mundo. Ó, for Rival. Tem que resolver. Se quiser ser líder, tem que resolver. Vou colocar o Coringa pra jogar. Não, o Coringa, não assisti não. Eu assisto do CS, o Major. Mas eu vi alguns highlights. Top pra caralho, velho. CS é top pra caralho. Estrutura, tudo. GG. Ó, a BTR de novo, bem na safe. Limpa aí, BTR.
Against the SCA side. Let's see how they're gonna contend with this. Cryptics, they've had the ups and downs, mostly downs.
Corre risco de tomar um sanduichão ali. Caralho! Ah, porra!
And this is really good for Big E Tron because they also have to think about the threat of Reject from behind. Reject aren't looking for the time being to take advantage of that opportunity. They're allowing BTR to play
CBR
their own game
pronto.
and take that
E
isolated
vamos.
fight. MS Chambori are in the dead center of the circle as we're making our way into phase number 5. Reject are going up against Rico.
Rico Infinity.
Falou eu.
Against a Japanese
E a nova
side,
não passou para a segunda
he
Império.
aligns it perfectly. Could have potentially found Divine or Sarah, but they're gonna
Super Weekend.
into the little house to have a cover. See zone number
Ó quem tá
5.
bem lá na safe.
No top right corner, and finally Reject.
São aquelas datas lá, sexta ou segunda. Cara, eu prefiro segunda. Dia 20, mais tempo.
I'm just gonna throw out a random number. I think only 30% of them are gonna survive.
It's a fair number. I think even though it's a little bit random, I think it's a little bit accurate as MS Chambori now start to move on to BTR, knock initially onto Liquid. Looks he's going to get taken out as well. Still the two other members.
Pegou, pegou. Nossa, ainda conseguiu vazar. Não creio.
Takes a couple of shots and UI has to reposition.
You need to res, Jasper. You need to res one of your teammates to the last man standing. And he is going to arrive in time. This is complete pandemonium.
Pegou ainda.
Taking shots at everyone and Satar. Oh, he's still healing out in the open.
A nova do Paraguai tá indo bem? Cara, passou pra primeira. Super Weekend foi bem, terminou em quarto. A segunda não passou. Mas vai classificar pra final. Só que não tá bem não. Pô, você não classificou pra Super Weekend?
On top, he's gonna patch himself up though in the blue in the meantime. And FaZe, you yelled out to him, Beer 11, somehow making his way into the zone in that car, and he's untouched. The guy seems to be just invincible at this point.
He picked up a kill onto UI.
Tem Infinity que estão full. Infinity tá sem kill.
The full squad wipe on the BTR, but he was like, look, I'll take the kill, I'll move away, I'll let MS Chambori deal with that.
Acho que os asiáticos estão muito melhor que a América? Não. O nível lá, o nível aqui não tá maior que lá. Não tem nada de maior lá no nível daqui. Dá pra jogar e dá pra bater de frente com esses caras sim, velho.
Final 8 teams, but only 19 alive. And Infinity.
Você vê se fosse a FPP esse camp. Cara, o FPP voltando. Eu gosto de ver o FPP jogado.
They've gone untouched. They've had a quiet game.
Eu gosto de ver o FPP sendo jogado. Ano que vem acho que volta. Ih, olha a FaZe, mano. O cara tá chegando. Que isso? Que esse cara fez, mano, sozinho? Ah, morreu, mas pegou 7º lugar, 3 kills.
Seemingly forever and even getting a couple of kills to his name. So FaZe will be eliminated. They do get 3 points though. Now the final 6. Now the 14 players. Senkai out in the open will be made quick work off by 33Z and STE 628. Not Stalwart. 628. The Chinese side could be the team who will have to take down Infinity. Because Infinity, they're watching, they're listening to whatever is transpiring around them. And even the zone is favoring them. So everything is going their way. But 628 gets
Infinity grandona na safe. Caralho. Fechou por eles. Caíram base, lutaram ali, nem precisaram sair. Falou, né, Pretinho? É isso. Viraram o jogo ainda. Seguiram bem. Tava malzão, ainda foram bem. Não vai ser no global também? Claro, esse campo é inteiro no global. A única coisa que tem no chinês é a PEL.
Was it Max or was it Professor Tarzan that said Tang Jiabao is a 16 team? Was it Max? Well, Max, how do you like that?
Well, Caleris first, then Max.
É, o duro que assim, uma hora alguém vai bater ali. Vai ser agora. Os times têm que aproveitar o third party. Nem conseguiu bater. O que é, Arnold? É o full TPP agora? Não sei. Tem lógica eles botarem a PEL full TPP agora e pro global voltar o FPP.
4v4 v2. The MENA team, the Chinese side, and a team from Southeast Asia.
Sim, sim, as duas stats têm um jogo muito perigoso. Vai transmitir às 15? Sim, normal. Normal. Eu só não vou manter direto porque ele gera 2 links, né?
Despite the Infinity having the comfort of the buildings, because
A
there's
final
so
do
much
Mundial vai
pressure
ser de
around them, which
manhã.
I'm pretty sure they're aware of,
Depende da região.
they can't really
Muito
stay in
provavelmente
one
vai ser em
spot.
Singapura.
They can't really rest inside these buildings.
Então,
They, you
sim,
know,
acho que vai ser de manhã.
every single like angle is to an extent under pressure. So this is going to be challenging. But luckily for them, the circle stays in their direction.
Ainda tá safe a Infinity. Caralho, velho.
6 to 8, they're now the ones that need to reposition. They have to make their way into this.
Mas a NGX ainda consegue manter ali. E pode atrapalhar a Steph fácil.
Obscure the vision, perhaps. Few smokes being deployed. That's exactly what they're going to do. Smokes to obscure Tony's position. It's going to throw a preemptive nade as
Já pegou 2, só tem mais 2.
Get knocked as well, and this is a lovely opportunity for Enigma Galaxy.
Só mais um.
You can see Lord getting on top of the watchtower, trying to steal a couple of kills away, but Infinity, they're going to come being pushed at by 6 to 8.
Oh my god!
Absolutely.
Olha lá, 4x2. Meu predict era Infinity, hein? Mas a NGX pode fazer a play. Será que vai dar meu predict? Ah, acertar ali dentro HE. Pô, o cara tem que ser muito bom. Ela pegou. Pegou. Não. Quase.
You know the crazy part is they had 0 kills and 0 bullets fired, and now they have 7 kills.
Pegou, 4x1. GG meu predict, caralho. Não, sei. Caralho. Ah, o refrag. Ó, terminou torto. Aí meu predict, caralho. Sabia. Não adianta. O cara caiu base, nem saíram da base. Foram favorecidos pela safe o tempo inteiro. É isso que eu falo. Quem luteia base ou novo em safe base sai muito favorecido. Os caras estavam full. A galera não. A galera que rotou primeiro, que já caiu e foi tentar atravessar pra lutear a base, não fica com um loot muito bom. E quem fica luteando lá em cima pra depois atravessar, não consegue atravessar direito. Atravessa sem carro, atravessa pela água. Foda, mano. Foda. Eu não gosto de ver essa safe jogada base. Porque lembra uma safe que a gente tava vendo, acho que foi anteontem, o Vito com 101? Só doideira acontecendo, só morte louca. Eu gosto de ver o jogo mais jogado, mas enfim, é jogo também, então é isso. FPP é 100% mais competitivo que o TPP? Sim, também acho. FPP você exige mais a habilidade, etc. Né? Vamos ver essa tabela logo aí. Ver como vai ficar. 11h20 terminou. Bacana, quem não deixou o like, deixa o like aí. Lembrando que terça-feira tem mais, hein?
If you look at their performance in Super Weekend number 1, and compare it to just the one day today,
bravo, dá muita questão. O Petar tem uma boa química com o Conversco, mas não é Conversco, que é meio estranho, Pius. Sempre top. Verdade. E o Repulsor, uma boa dupla, e Petar e Vespa é outra boa dupla. Salve, Marcos Vinícius!
better, and I'm really glad they proved that. Such a strong game, and although
Wyatt.
the chicken dinner, they can be very, very proud of the massive
FPP exige audição boa, além do fone ser bom também. Exige uma boa audição, exige um maior reflexo, maior precisão.
They are not a 16th place team. That's all I can say. Like, hell yeah, they get themselves a nice top 4 position.
Vai transmitir amanhã domingo? Sim, normal. Falou, Tratorzinho, até as 15. Já estão de volta. Assiste o Mundial do PUBG de Steam, não? Não.
Closing things out, but for me, the real story, and I'm sorry guys for all the
Ao
fans that have
mobile.
been out there, it isn't them. It's
Não
the
tem
Galaxy
autorização pra
bouncing
nada
back
pro vídeo
so
da Steam.
well today. I really can't understate like how much, or overstate how much of a good job they did.
Professor Tarzan, falei a mesma coisa. Mano, é professor. Esse cara viajou na maionese, velho. Professor Tarzan.
Falling short when it comes in the Super Weekend, but they have bounced back with flying colors, and it seems like they've been able to find.
E agora, a BTR tá com uma boa média? Tá.
They almost got as many points as they had in the entire first Super Weekend out of
Vou ver quantos fez nessa, mas tava com a média 12,5.
They are definitely back on track in terms of how they've been playing these games.
Agora vai abaixar, que não fez, né?
Late game stages, and Tarzan, we say every time what would be the best play for Nigma to do here, it was to get access to that wall side outside of Millie, and they just got there super early. They have a
Falou, Coringa, até
idea
depois.
of what's going to allow them to get extra placement points, extra elimination points also, and they just go for the right play a lot of the time in these games. I'm super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many things that could have gone wrong, to be fair, and there was one game, I mean, that was game 3.
BTR 3 pontos, então fez 53 pontos em 5 quedas. Média de 10. Quase 11. Falou, Money, até depois. Você nem assiste aqui com nós, Money. Você fica assistindo no outro canal lá. Os times que ganham com pouca kill, né, velho? Pois é, e não tem os times que ganham com muita kill. É mais equilibrado esse lado leste. Ô, Darkzinho, é depois. E aí, general? No mobile é mais da hora que o da Steam, o Darkfire falou. Cara, eu não sei, é porque eu gosto do mobile. Eu também não gosto muito de ver o da Steam não, Fastseira, mas é porque é costume, tá ligado? Nossa, parece uma cuia de chimarrão a cabeça desse maluco aí, ó, coisa estranha.
Yeah, even Freak has been doing great, but Lord, especially in these games, is really good when it comes to controlling the pacing of how the game's going to end.
No mobile é mais rápido. Assistir mais alguém? Mais alguém do que esses dias, Secão. Highlight? Não. Eu já vou fechar.
Frags hand there, so really good attempt as we're going to have his head-to-head with Nuzi, which we know, Tarzan, you thought he was going to be MVP and he's still on track to potentially be in the MVP of this tournament.
Depois
Nuzi on that rooftop position just made it.
Não, Secão. Outra hora assistimos, amanhã assistimos, depois assistimos. Não, Ana, você que toma chimarrão, não parece? Não parece. Achando PUBG Mobile. Mano, como assim, general? Ó, camisa do Vasco, filho. Camisa do Vasco com a logo da Esporte Interativo. Chegou no fim, já. O japonês fofinho aquele do meio. Passou. Ó, no segundo dia, na segunda Super Weekend, tabela ali, ó. GX tá em primeiro, SC, GX e a BTR tá em quinto. Tal.
But again, that goalpost will potentially move against them. It might move in their favor depending on how the days go. The important part is chase those teams who are not in the Super Weekend. Try to catch up to them and surpass them. Because if they don't get in next Super Weekend and you do, it's much easier for you to qualify in top 16 to get into those finals.
Did I just see 37 eliminations coming out from Genesis Dogma? What? Wow. I mean, these guys are fragging out big time today. I'm really happy to see that come to fruition. But onto the second page throughout this first day, we're still not seeing stars, unfortunately. The Star Water we expected after the start of that first week, right? They're struggling.
Falido,
they're still safe. when it comes to
Falido não tá.
as of right now,
Vicente é bilionária, né? A quinta empresa mais valiosa do mundo, avaliada em 747 bilhões de dólares. Falido não tá. Aqui pra nós até não tá bom de público. Mas é igual eu tava falando, na Indonésia, agora de manhã, 150 mil pessoas vendo lá. É foda, né?
Before that last game, they were both on 185 points between 4 Rivals and the Infinity. So, if not for that last chicken dinner from Infinity, 4 Rivals could have potentially been first place without a single
Tabela geral ali.
How insane is that? I really...
Infinity 209 pontos.
Of performance of this on 4 Rivals right now. Intrigued to see if that's going to be changing so far. But in terms of elimination so far, Noose got a total of 33. And was Dable actually from Genesis Dogma. I mean, out of the 37 they got today, and throughout the entirety of the 98 eliminations picked up so far by Genesis Dogma.
É hora de chegar também já. É, mas a BTR consegue, velho. Se manter essa média, ó, 53. Termina essa segunda com 150 pontos. Não tô achando partida San Roque. É, o nosso servidor ele não tá mais muito legal por enquanto, né? Porque o outro jogo lá ele deu uma hypadinha no começo. Mas é igual o COD, cara. Não sei, eu acho que o nosso jogo não morre, não. Vou apostar 300 conto pro Grêmio vencer a Série B ano que vem, Fer. Uma boa? Claro. Claro. O Grêmio volta ano que vem, não tenho dúvida. Ah, sabia não, Tamir. Sabia não, que isso, que beleza.
But ladies and gentlemen, you guys at home, while we are enjoying the show, enjoying watching all the matches, you should enjoy the chance you get some permanent items.
Tu viu o vídeo dos caras farpando? Ainda não vi. À tarde eu vejo. Dá pra assistir com vocês em live. Bom, terminou aqui, rapaziada, o negócio seguinte. Vou fechar e às 3 horas estamos de volta, fechou? Esperando vocês. Obrigado a todo mundo que acordou aí e veio comigo assistir de manhã. Beijo, até depois.